touch it. Yeah, when it comes to singing, don't forfeit. Cause right now your skills we're understanding. When they are applied to the national anthem, you will blow our minds in a major way. When you have the hype skills of Flavor Flav, all will combine, you'll leave the world shook. This right here, it is one for the books. Yeah, ain't no such thing as halfway crooks. Yo, Lamar, go ahead and sing that hook. Let's go. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. Okay, there you heard it. Yeah, with auto-tune, it's perfect. Once we have it dialed in post, my man Lamar really doing the most. Yeah, you took that song in a whole new direction. Where were you inspired with those inflections?
What's going on, everybody? What is going on? Welcome to an episode of Opinionated with yours truly. I am Resla. Hopefully you guys have been having a good day today. We are going to be having a bit of a conversation. It might be a bit of a page turner for you guys. And for some people, it might be a little bit of a sensitive issue, but that's exactly what we do here on Opinionated. If you're really new to the channel, I just want to feel free to actually invite you and just say thank you for actually showing up. And here on this channel, we have thought-provoking conversations about a multitude of things, about multiple conversations. They could be trends, they could be news, it could be political. It could just be the regular things that we see as a problem. But most of all, when we're having our conversation, we have to really be on point and really asking something really important. When we are visiting multiple people, friends, family, coworkers, the opinions that we're giving, the things that are leaving out of our mouth, the echo chambers that we leave from, are those the things that are coming out of our mouth when we open up, or are they authentically our thoughts? Now, today's topic is going to be about, as you see from the title, it's going to be about criminalizing obesity, or rather, I should be asking the question, criminalizing obesity, is it a public health measure, or is it simply discrimination? It's something that we are going to have to talk about here. And before we get a little bit into it, I'm going to lay a little bit of groundwork, and then I'm going to go, of course, with the normal pleasantries that we have for today. So as we start dissecting these conversations, again, it's going to be a little bit of a heated one. People are going to feel their way in a lot of different ways about it. But we're talking about something that's on the rise. And it's rather a thing with public discourse. And that is basically what I just said earlier. It's criminalizing obesity. Some people out here are going to be looking at this like, seriously? Should we even be looking at this as something that we should treat on a criminal, as a criminal offense? Now, that's a massive statement. It's a massive statement to make. Is it a public health necessity, or is it something that we can just look at as straight up discrimination? And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. So before we get into the first segment, of course, I'm going to, thank anybody who just already walked into the door. And as we start slowly pouring in, guys, feel free to actually hit that like button. And of course, engage with everybody you see in the chat. You don't have to sit back and be a ninja watcher. But of course, we have Locksmith Jeremy, who just walked into the building. After I set the groundwork as to where I am coming with all this, so that you are not just simply forming your own opinions right off the start, I will open up the panel, and then we can all have a genuine conversation about all this stuff. So before we get into all this, let's start with it. Before anyone throws out their phones, throw their phone across the room, or they start screaming already about how this is some BS or whatever, or they start typing angrily in the freaking chat, or even if this is you're catching a replay, start typing angrily in the comment section. How about we build the framework a little bit? We all know that obesity is a huge issue within the country. No, no pun intended. Because if we can't really laugh at the little, especially during these conversations, it's gonna be a rough one. So I really want us to look at this with an eye of being curious, with an eye of really having an open-minded opinion and not just want to be on a thing of a hit dog being hollered, because I haven't even said anything offensive, or at least not offensive to you yet. So if you believe that you are a person who doesn't believe that anyone should even have a conversation about the topic, then obviously you are not ready in your own development to even listen to anything that could be beneficial to not only you, but to anyone that you may know and love. The obesity rates are rising. They are. The healthcare system is strained. And our government officials are looking at whatever solutions they can. But the question is criminalizing even an option? Hmm. Is it an option? Should it something that we should really be looking at? I mean, like I said, we think of the healthcare system and we take a look at the actual costs that are associated, especially when it comes to a visual cue or a way to help a lot of people who are coming through in the actual world. So here's the deal. I see everybody's pouring in now. Yvette says, "Big black love. Thank you for coming in." Lauren says, "Hi. Yeah, thanks for coming in. Thanks for coming in." And just feel free to say hi to everybody as you walk into the door. No Chaser walked up in here, says, "Yo, what's going on? Appreciate it. Appreciate it." Says the salute. Uh, there are those who will argue that obesity is a personal responsibility. It's a personal issue, and that maybe society just needs to get a little bit tougher when it comes to their laws to encourage healthier living. Maybe. I mean, you've got places that ban certain foods. They limit junk food ads that are targeted to kids. And for some people, they say, why stop there? Well, why stop at those things? Why not hold individuals accountable for their lifestyle choices? I mean, is criminalizing really the way to go, though? I mean, we criminalize drug use. We find people who basically are smoking in non smoking areas. Is obesity the next thing that's going to be on that list? What about in terms of public health? Now, there are people who just fall in that segment. But let's look at the other hand of that. People are in favor of this approach to argue that obesity is a public health crisis, right? You've got this rise of heart disease. You got the cost of billions when it comes to healthcare. So why not treat it as if it's, how do I say? How do we treat it, or why don't we treat it as another form of public health measure? The logic is that if we can penalize people financially for smoking or for wearing seatbelts, which is still crazy when people get fined for seatbelts because it's not something you really think about, but it does happen. Why not penalize people who are unhealthy because of their eating habits that lead to obesity? Again, we're going through asking the question of that. I mean, some countries have already started that they want to start taxing sugary drinks. I know here in New York, when we had Michael Bloomberg, that's exactly what he started doing. He started trying to ban like big sodas, banning trans fats, or another thing that people try to do in other states. So could fines or penalties for maintaining an unhealthy weight really be that far off? Is that really any difference than charging people for extra when it comes to like insurance because they're like a bad smoker? I mean, and let's be real. Let's be real. These public health crises, it costs us a lot of money. They're higher in taxes, higher healthcare premiums that people have to pay, you name it. So, should the burden fall on more more heavily on those who are contributing to these costs, or should there be another way that we leave it alone? Or let's just get into the next part. Should we be looking at it as strictly discrimination? And is it just discrimination in disguise? Now, here's where things get a little bit murky. They get a little bit murky to me. You've got this other side of the argument where people say, hold up, this is straight up discrimination. These people don't choose to be obese. They don't choose to be obese in the same way that someone might choose to pick up a pack of cigarettes. And there are some socioeconomic factors that contribute to it. There's a matter of genetics, there's a matter of mental health issues, there's a matter of food deserts. We do have those things that we have to look at that come into place. So I guess the question that pops up in my mind from there is, how exactly do you police that fairly? Does finding or criminalizing obesity just targeting low income people, low income communities, people of color? How about those who don't really necessarily have access to the most healthiest of options? I mean, are we gonna start throwing people all in jail because they ate too much? They ate too many Big Macs. It's easy to tell someone to lose weight the same way how it's easy to tell someone to gain weight. But if you live in one of these areas where you get fresh produce, you know, where basically fresh produce seems like it's a myth, and the closest thing to vegetables is basically French fries. We're not. Yes, you can get on McDonald's fries too, but we're not having that conversation today. But the question is it really fair to penalize people? And let's talk about the slippery slope argument of this, right? Here's something to think about. Where does it stop? If we criminalize obesity, does that open the door for criminalizing other health issues? I mean, what about the people who drink too much? Oh, by the way, let me just yeah, the people that drink too much. What about the people who don't exercise enough? At what point do we start punishing people for how they live their own lives? And who decides exactly what's right and what's wrong when it comes to their personal health? Is it the government's role to control our bodies like that? Is it? I mean, think about it. And look, people will say, well, it's for the greater good. But is it? Is it really for the greater good? Or are they just finding another group of people to basically point the finger at? I mean, obesity itself is a complex issue for a lot of people because there's no one size fits all. And the thing about it is that once you start going down that road, the question is, who's next? People with mental health issues? Smokers? Drinkers? People who have a hobby of being bikers? People with chronic diseases? And what about the aspect of personal responsibility? Now, I'm not saying that personal responsibility doesn't matter. I'm not saying that whatsoever. It does. It very much does. You've got to make your own decisions. But should society bear the full cost of those decisions? I mean, let's look at the flip side of that, right? Should we let our government or anyone really tell us how to live our lives? And most of all, penalize us when we don't really live up to the ideal image of health? And what about the mental health or the emotional toll for treating obesity as a crime? That's real too. You have to really take that into account. And think about this. How does someone who already struggling with their weight feel about it when society says, "Hey, by the way, not only are you unhealthy, but also you're a lawbreaker now." Is that really the direction that we all want to go in? Hmm? So, what do you guys think? Is obesity this public health issue that needs to be held to a stronger and maybe even a legal way? Is that the only way to really put forth, quote, an intervention? Or is this just another way to stigmatize or even discriminate against people? I'm really curious to know what your thoughts are on this because it's a wild topic that's really moving across the entire globe. And this is the thing about it. There's no easy answer. There's not. You can't deny that obesity is a problem. But how far are people willing to take it in order to solve it? Is criminalization the answer? I have my own personal thoughts, but this is a conversation that we can all have together. And with that said, let me just drop the link in the chat and we can all have this conversation. Here we go. Link is in the chat as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I know some of you guys are going to have your own particular thoughts on it. I know some of y'all are going to be wanting to cook, and you probably got your own thoughts and your own measures. You got family members, you got your own weight issues that you're probably dealing with. I'll give you a moment to actually collect yourselves to come up with your thoughts or your arguments and what you want to share by. And you know how I do this. I'm gonna give you a couple of minutes, and we gonna do a little promo for the team. All right, tell me what you're thinking.
Regular drip, like you a blood, sit baby still, fast and fly. Evidence plain, no decode, and no blackity black shit. We chillin' with the crew. You welcome for the session. I hope your time was pleasant. Now did you learn your lesson? Welcome to the porch. Welcome to the porch. Yeah. Welcome to the porch. Welcome to the porch. Welcome to the porch. Welcome to the porch. Yeah. Welcome to the porch. Grab you a drink, light you a blunt, sit back and steal, facts fly, evidence plain, no dick holding, no blackity black shit. We chillin' with the crew. You welcome for the session. I hope your time was pleasant. Now did you learn your lesson? Welcome to the porch. Welcome to the porch. Welcome to the porch. Welcome to the porch. Yeah. Welcome to the porch. Welcome to the porch. Welcome to the porch. Welcome to the porch. Yeah. Welcome to the porch, yeah. Welcome to the porch, yeah. Welcome to the porch, yeah. Welcome to the porch.
All right. So we already got somebody sitting here coming up with it. Yo, we got Blind. Blind. What's good, my guy?
What's
How you
good, my
doing?
dude? Chilling, man. Don't hear an echo? Oh no, it was just me. I'm tripping. Yeah, I'm tripping.
I got you. So what do you think of the conversation?
Shoot, I think it's an interesting one, man, but I think it's an important one, you know? Like I think we're getting to the tipping point, especially here in America, bro. When you look back at pictures, and this is the problem. I feel like this conversation runs parallel to the conversation about prostitution. You know, because
Please
it's somebody.
elaborate.
Check me out. Let me cook. Check me out. When you're
Go for it.
talking about somebody, like, let's talk about somebody that gets caught prostituting, and let's say they did criminalize obesity and it was a crime, and you go and arrest somebody after they're already fat. Like, you're talking about somebody who's already in a shit problem, shit life. I mean, I'm generalizing. I know there are successful prostitutes and stuff, but for the most part, and I do know this, I have personal experience with prostitutes. I don't buy them, I know some. And this is from the dope game when I used to sell dope and stuff. But most of them, I would say, do it out of a sense of desperation, man. Like lack of education, lack of tools, lack of the things that people have to get a head start in a proper life, you know. But what happens though is that this person is in this shit situation, and we think that coming in just slapping like a fucking ticket or a felony charge or whatever type of charge on them, it helps the problem. It doesn't actually help the problem at all, man. Like, it's not gonna make people change their ways, because what happens is people still have to take that route because they, like, really, obesity exists. Why? Because food is unhealthy here in America. We eat all fucking fast food, GMOs. People eat what they can to survive. Like, there isn't a lot of people who get to pick from the freshest fruits and vegetables and whole grains and shit like you would want, you know?
So you don't think that there are actually people who do have access to fresh food, to fresh and healthy food, and overconsumption doesn't lead to gaining weight as well?
Honestly, I would. I mean, I don't know the statistics, but I honestly would.
Well,
I would
I'm just asking. Do you believe that overconsumption leads to gaining weight?
Yeah, I think it's a dual problem. I think it's a dual problem because I don't think that the people who have access to them nice fruits and vegetables and all the good foods, a lot of those people aren't overweight. A lot of those people are the healthy people that know how to eat right. And
You are aware though that in other countries, they regulate portion controls. Anyone who comes here to
legally,
the anyone who comes to the US always says that we give out too much food from where we go to eat, from restaurants, everything. They always think that we have way too much food that we're giving. Most other countries have a portion control of what they actually put out.
I mean, yeah, well, like I said, I think it's a dual problem because I think that we've gotten used to that as Americans. Like, and it seems like to me, and I've done both, bro. I was 300 pounds by the time I was probably like 15, 16 years old. I was a big boy, like big, fat boy, fat ass boy. And then like I learned about nutrition and stuff, and I got control over it, and I started applying it into my life. And like it's almost like when it's junk food, you have to eat more, man, to feel satisfied. And that's just my own personal experience. But when it's junk food, because people eat, what do people eat on a daily basis, bro? Chips, a dollar burger here and there, a burrito from a gas station, fucking spaghetti that they threw together from a can. Like we've lost the concept of nutrition almost completely as like just as like a family thing.
You believe that the average person eats all that stuff?
Yeah, no
I'm
doubt.
I,
The
I,
average
I
person
can
I know.
I actually will disagree with you on that because if we were saying the average person was like that, then we would say that the average person is obese, and they're not.
Hell yeah, they
Hey,
are.
Yvette.
Hi.
Hey
Hello,
there.
Yvette.
Hi.
Yeah,
I
the
well,
average. I'm
I,
sorry.
I, was-
Go ahead,
I,
Yvette.
I was just saying in the chat, we eat all the junk food, you know, like crazy because it's the most addicting. We have more addictive chemicals in our food than anybody else in the world. So naturally, we're addicted to stuff. We're going to keep going after it, which is why it's all the crap that has the most addictive shit in it. Sorry.
Well, and what do you think, Yvette? Do you think the average person is obese or not?
The average person, yeah, I would say so, especially more now than ever. Absolutely.
So, so you believe the average person that's running out here is obese? Now, let's also just say this: we're not conflating obesity with being unhealthy, because
Yeah.
there are
No,
people
no,
there are
no. Hold
people
on.
no no no
You
no 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 because people will look at me and say that because I am slim, I am healthy, and that it's incorrect.
okay?
But you're
You're
not
right. You're
obese.
right. Exactly. And let me say, just from my I respect that, but for me, I think obesity is unhealthy. Not that it can't be beautiful, because I have seen obese women that are beautiful. So
Yeah.
it doesn't have an effect on your beauty standard. But I
Well,
would
we're not
think,
talking about attraction. We're
I would
strictly
say
talking about health.
that it's purely unhealthy. It is a marker for unhealthiness.
I agree with
And
that. Yeah,
and
I
again, and there's a difference between being unhealthy versus being obese. They're not synonymous.
Mm.
There are people who are naturally big people who are actually not unhealthy.
But that's not obese. Like once they
But
reach the level
that's
of
my point.
obesity,
We can't look at everybody who's a big person and then say that they are obese.
yeah, yeah, there
Like
is an
a
actual
big stocky
measurement.
guy who's like freaking 6'7", weighing at his actual weight, but is larger than everybody else because he's beyond the average size, is not obese.
Yeah. Well,
But he
I
could be
think
doing other things, being just as tall, slender, eating all the bags of chips and drinking all the Fritos and the Frito Lays and all that other stuff, and he could be unhealthy. Doesn't matter what he looks like inside. He's dealing with cholesterol. He's dealing with hypertension. He's dealing with like you can be skinny and deal with diabetes. Like
yeah,
that's true.
so,
true.
we
And
cannot conflate those two things.
there are factors that factor into it. I think like your BMI factors into it, like you said, like your blood pressure, your cholesterol, all
Mhm.
these things. But I'm not sure. Like I think the two aren't mutually exclusive. I think that you can be healthy and skinny, but I don't think that you can be healthy and obese. Because once you reach the level of what is clinically obese, I would venture to say that most doctors would call that unhealthy. Because I don't think the
Let me
you
ask
can
you. I'm gonna
operate
ask you the question. Let me answer the question. How big? Let's just say you have a person who is, let's just say 6'2". Let's make it a size of 6'2",
six,
6'2", 6'1". How much is obese?
at 6'1". I would say probably about 200. Anything above like 250, 260 pounds.
Okay, cool. So what if he's in great shape because he's a linebacker? Is he obese?
He won't, unless he's taking steroids, he won't be that weight.
How do you figure?
Because you lean out, like you once you, like your body isn't capable of being healthy and being fat at a certain point, because your fat is going to get burned in doing the things that make you healthy. So like once you get, okay, say like
But you
I'm
can still
five.
be big. Remember, because now we're talking about mass and density.
Yeah, okay, like let's say like a lineman. Like I'm 5'10", probably like 210 pounds, 215 pounds. That's considered obese. I'm pretty sure, because I'm past what my ideal weight is. Like you can, I mean, but it's such a rare thing, bro. And that's the reason why I find it dangerous to say that, because too many people want to rest on that and say, well, I am the healthy obese. But you're right. Like there is a level of like when you're eating a shitload, like linemen, and they run enough to where but they're still considered obese, and they're still going to have heart problems at the end of the day, because your heart is stressed when it's having to carry around all this extra weight all the time. You know what I mean? I mean, that's just my opinion.
See, weight
I
is
think that's a
is
matter of strength and conditioning as well, but because many people don't work out as much as they should, most people don't walk
Yeah.
as much as they should. You were going to say something, Yvette?
weight is measured in two different ways. We got the weight from fat, and then we got the weight from muscle. Obviously, one is going to be considered obese while the other isn't. You can have two people the exact same measurements, height, weight, but one be completely, not completely because it's impossible, but majority fat from the weight from fat, and the other one mostly muscle. they're
That's
gonna
true too, because those
they're two
linemen are
totally
buff as
different
shit.
things.
That
They're
is
not the
true.
same thing.
That's true. If you were to take all the fat off those linemen, bro, they'd be huge still. Like they're huge, but they weigh a lot, but they look fat because they got some fat
big,
over the
yeah.
muscle.
So
But
do you
so
believe? Do you think that our government should step in to criminalize?
no, I think our government should take 4 years off, bro. I think
4 years off of what?
our issue like constantly hear people talking about left and right. I think we need to start talking about the problem being politics. Like the problem
Yeah.
is no longer left and right. The problem is politics.
Yeah.
Okay,
We don't need to be
okay,
spending.
but you just shifted the conversation. We're talking about obesity. We're
Well,
not talking
I
about
believe no intervention.
we're not
I
talking
think
about parties.
influence should be the extent of your control over somebody. You should be able to give them an influence. You should be able to show them an example, but you shouldn't be able to tell anybody what to do with their life. That's my belief.
Okay, so when we are having people who are passing away at a national level, when we are having multiple issues of people who are saying that they need larger stalls or need to buy extra seats, or there is a weight capacity on an airplane or something like that, you don't think that these are some measures that need to be taken a look at?
That's a
I mean, I think
When you have people who are stuck in their houses.
that's their responsibility. They shouldn't have got that way.
Well, no, you say it's their responsibilities, but doesn't it always come down to someone else having to deal with it?
Yeah,
so
but I mean,
their responsibility if someone else has to come in and take charge.
It's like you said though, bro, like the thing about the government, man, is that once you hand them the key to the house, bro, they use that motherfucker as a master key. Or you could give them the key to your bathroom and they're going to use that motherfucker to every door in your house, your car, your whole life. So you can't tell the government, here's a little bit of control, because what they're going to do is you're not going to agree with their line. So like, you're right. It does fall on the loved ones, man, but that's why loved ones should influence each other to become healthy. Like, if you leave it up to the government, what they're going to do is say, here's the line. And then people aren't going to agree on it. And then some people, like, what are you going to do with those people anyway? You're going to put somebody in jail because they're fat?
Loved ones, right? I love the fact that you mentioned loved ones, right? Because when I turn around and I see these little kids with 2 parents in their house, and that kid is obese at the age of 7, what we talking about, loved ones? When the kid doesn't want to eat the apple, and the kid doesn't want to eat the vegetables, and they allow the kid to sit there and drink 7-Up and Yoo-Hoo and freaking Swedish Fish. Is that really
what's the alternative?
Our families that are supporting us?
Can you lay out a legitimate way, man, without them fucking invading every aspect of your life and violating it? Can you lay out any type of like way that the government could do this and it be fair and legitimate?
Well, that's what we're here to have the conversation about. I don't have a program. I'm here to have the conversation. I don't have an answer, but we can't even come to an answer until we start having the conversation. Because most people just turn around and say, mind your freaking business, and that should be the end of it. And the answer is no, because what if I'm someone who is EMS or whatever, and you can't get yourself out the house and I have to deal with you, and you could be an extra strain on me trying to get you out of your apartment, possibly.
Yeah. Sometimes they got to literally cut the motherfucker out of the house. Like cut a whole giant fucking hole out of the motherfucking house, man. That's
or
some shit.
maybe someone who might want to sue or whatever, because the only way to get you out so that we can get you to medical treatment is to destroy your doorway. Who's going to pay for that? You want to now charge the city. What's good, Marcus?
What's up? How's everybody doing?
What's good, Marcus? What's good, Sasquatch?
Should a person be able to sue the city for damaging their place of residence?
No. Those people should be put in jail.
There are cases of people who do that.
I know, but just like the idiot that complains about the airline seat, just like the moron that complains about the temperature of McDonald's coffee, like those people are the reasons why we have to have these conversations, man. Those people need to just shut up. Like, honestly.
Well, that's a big stretch between buying an extra airline seat and how hot the coffee is.
Is it really? Because that's a matter of common sense. Like, if you ask me.
It is. Because if we're talking about a person who is slim and they just want to buy the extra seat, they pay the extra money. The issue that we have with the person who has to buy the extra seat
No. I'm talking about the
they're at a
people.
particular weight where they don't want to buy the extra seat and instead gets mad at the airport for not having large enough.
Yeah. My bad. I stated that wrong if I said that. Because what I meant was the people that want to like sue the airline company because the seat ain't big enough and shit like that.
Right.
That's what I meant. Because you're right. If you pay for it, of course, man. Shit, I'm sure first class seats are bigger than the seats in economy class or whatever else. So pay your shit. You know what I mean? Like if you have an issue with it, pay your shit. Like
Marcus, what do you think about the conversation?
As far as what topic? Because you guys made multiple examples.
We are talking about the possibility. We're really talking about either criminalizing obesity, or is it just looked at as a way of discriminating against people who are obese?
Oh, it's not the Fat Hooker Show? Damn.
No, not yet.
I'm messing with you. Go ahead,
my
man.
kind of topic. Maybe if I can get some hoes up here, maybe I'll send you a personal invite, Locksmith.
I got you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I think, to be honest, I just think that when it comes to that issue, I think just giving out those benefits to people that are very severely obese or morbidly, that needs to be more watched. And I think the parents who have kids that are severely obese too, because I see some kids here that it's very, very bad. Like I've seen CPS cases of that kind of stuff too, where they'll get called on and they'll show up and be like, hey, well, what's going on with this kid over here? He's like, he's pushing 200, but he's a fourth grader, what's going on over here? Like, well, what are they eating? And they have like breathing issues. You even had like little kids. I'll even use my little nephew, for example. He was very heavy set when he was a little, like a toddler, baby. He's like 2 years old. He had to use like the breathing machine just to be able to go to sleep. Those are severe issues where one day the baby can't even show up, breathe it, and sleep, and they could pass away from stuff like that. Artery problems. You got bloodstream issues. You have the white cells. You can't fight off the fatty tissue.
Yep.
And this is just because me just being in football, did wrestling, did MMA, almost in the service. I had to do it because I was in infantry, I was military, and I was in special forces. So we have to be in very severe good shape. We have to watch everything we're eating. And some people's body types, because it's like the esomorph, the morph of your freaking body type, man. It's really, you got to watch what you eat, because some people, they retain more than others. Some it depends on genetics. However, right. I don't like when people use the excuse, oh, well, it's my genetics, or I have a thyroid. No, you control every morsel that goes into your mouth. You know what calories you can do. You can do intermittent fasting. For some people, keto works. For others, it doesn't. You find where you fit in. For some people, just stay off of breads, stay off of pastas. Don't eat late. Don't eat sugary stuff. Don't eat hydrogenated oils. Don't eat seedy oils. Don't eat fatty, high saturated fats. You keep watching what you drink. Don't be a freaking binge drinker. Don't eat late at night. So, and consistency and discipline, man. It's you got to watch what how you're working out. There's a difference between what you're eating and how you're working out, because how you're working out is a fitness thing, not what you're eating, not what you're intaking. That's a whole different ballpark. I know people who work out, they're in good shape, they have good genetics, and they eat like shit, but because they have good genetics, it doesn't affect them as much. Then there's people who have to eat strictly and watch what they take every day, because they won't blow up like the World Trade. So you got to be careful, with that kind of stuff. And you also got to be careful with what supplements you take, because there's a thing called enterocolitis, and that crystallizes your organs. And a lot of bodybuilders, they have these issues. There's an MMA fighter that I looked up to a lot. He has enterocolitis, which is the crystallization of your organs. Georges St. Pierre. Reason why he stepped away from, he stepped away from the UFC for 4 years back in 2013 and come back until 2017. But even then, had his one fight. Guy is shit. Guy is ripped as crazy, like Jean-Claude Van Damme. But he had that issue where he intook some stuff that affected him in the long run. And you have issues like that. So you just got to watch out for stuff like that, man. And it's just like, go to the doctor, get a checkup, check your prostate if you're a guy, if you're a woman, whatever you got to do down there. So yeah, stuff like that. Just look at things like that, man.
And dude, you touched on something that I didn't really think about, and I don't know if they do already. I've heard that there's some places that give out disability for people that are morbidly obese, but I wouldn't have a problem with that. Like, honestly, because the reality of it is that when you're a certain level of obese, you're not going to get to enjoy the things in life that other people enjoy, man. So, like, to think that these people are just getting a free ride and shit, I hate that argument, and I hate the way that people say that, because their life's miserable anyway, man. Like, when you really think about it. Like, so, I mean, whatever helps people to get by the easiest way, bro. Like, I'm tired of giving the government the extra money instead of the people, you know?
Yeah.
Well, that's a matter of perspective, because that there are
Yeah.
definitely some morbidly obese people who turn around and say that they have decent, if good lives, or they're happy because they have family around them or whatever. It's not my cup of
How
tea.
happy can you be when you can't get up and go take a shit and wipe right because you're so fat?
To perspective on life, because there are people who quote are not really able, they're not morbidly obese. They are people who are strapped to a chair for most of the time, and someone has to help them wipe their ass or whatever. And you know, and the way that we all know about the human mind when it comes to the body is that it tends to adapt to the situation. Lauren has
as a society, we give those people disability, like the people you're talking about, and that's the only reason I'm saying that. Like, I mean, because what is the argument against it? Like I know I'm kind of moving the goalposts to talking about giving them disability rather than criminalizing it, but I think it's all kind of on the same spectrum. But like, what's a thin person's gonna be like? Oh well, I don't get to be lazy all day and sit in my fucking room and not, like, I mean, maybe nowadays that might be something people want to do, but I can't imagine that being like the way that men are forever. Like, people aren't always going to be like that.
Yeah, but this younger generation is definitely different, man. You know,
Yeah.
as a father.
Lauren's got a quick question. Lauren wants to know if
Yeah.
having a morbidly obese child, is that considered to be child abuse?
No, I don't think so.
It's definitely child neglect.
Yeah. So
Well, okay.
if there's, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Oh, I was just going to say this is that one of the reasons why the government in other places versus this one, like the government in other places can actually address this issue without dirty hands, man. Our government puts fucking all these fake sugars, all these fucking trans fats. I don't even know what all the shit the name is, dude, but girls that I've dated all talk about all that shit that's in American food that isn't in other places. And I know that, bro. Like, and you go to Mexico, the food is real. It's exactly what you say it is. They add so much shit to the food here in America, though, man. It is what makes people unhealthy.
Yes, it does.
And if you go eat food over there, you notice the way that it's breaking down in your system. You have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, that's so fucking true.
It goes straight to the bathroom, as opposed to here where it can sit in there. You find out you have a fatty liver, the intestines, everything's like piling up. You can have a lot of excrement built up in your body,
and you sweat better.
You know,
over
and so
there,
now you have to
like
it's different, and it's
so
also different too. Because you think about it, right? If you were to actually wake up on an empty stomach, go run for like an hour or 45 minutes just to start burning your body throughout the day, drink like a coffee, no sugars, no creamer, none of that artificial crap that people want to make like a Starbucks drink out of. Go and do that if you don't have a good pre-workout, and then just, you know, maybe drink a thermogenic if you can, which is AKA a fat burner, which as long as you make sure you get it balanced, then you make sure you get checked with your physician and stuff like that for this kind of type of a supplement. If you want to, don't codepend on your body so much, but take it like 3 times a week, maybe 4 times a week, if it helps you to start your, you know, metabolism burning, and for you to, you know, start getting on a regimen. That's what it is. So it's consistency on that part. But if you're gonna go and you're gonna go get a McDonald's frappe or some shit, that's not gonna be the type of thing that's gonna help you out to lose weight.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing too, is that like people, if you were to say how many times a week do you get fast food versus how many times a week do you do something active, I guarantee you the average person is going to have 5 times more times that they got fast food than they were active. Like, Go play basketball. Go for a walk. Even if you can't run, man. Like, I'm not a big runner. I can't. I probably couldn't run a 40-yard dash anymore, bro. But I'll walk my ass off. Like, it's a matter of getting up and moving around and staying mobile and keeping your muscles actually like moving and staying engaged. These people are basically vitrifying.
You should definitely drink way more water too, though. Like first
Oh,
thing I
no
get out
doubt,
of
no
bed,
doubt.
first thing before I even get out of bed, I'm crushing a whole bottle of water. I have one right next to my bed every night, waiting to crush that.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised, like small frame guys, Resla, myself. Now I'm putting weight back on, working out and all that crap. You'd be surprised at how dehydrated your body truly is and how fucked up it can actually make your body.
And you can go a while without water, man. So you're doing damage. Like, you're drying yourself out sometimes. I've done it to myself.
Yeah. But, definitely the food situation, back to what Lauren was saying, as far as child, they're morbidly obese. If there's health issues, man, I have no issue with that. My kids, I make them be kids. You're not going to sit on that tablet all damn day. You ain't getting on no game system, none of that bullshit. I'm very adamant about it. I want my kids to have a child's life outside, not just stuck inside the house. If they had it their way, they'd be on their shit. It ain't happened with me.
So
Because
let me ask the question.
Yeah.
Do you think that people should be penalized for their weight? Rather, if we penalize people for their weight, do you think that would encourage healthier behaviors? Instead of
it'll definitely make them think about their choices.
Yeah.
Instead of creating this whole stigma and the stigma around what their excuses are, or even mental health issues.
You're talking about like taxes?
I mean, well, you already pay more for insurance. Like a statement I made before was like, if you're like a smoker, people end up paying more in health insurance. So should there be heavier penalties for people in their weight? Would this encourage them to have healthier behaviors because they don't want to have to pay more?
I think so.
Without
it could be a way, yeah.
Without underlining health issues prior, and it's just by choice that they just don't want to exercise and just eat. Maybe they should. I mean, I can't. It's kind of a hard, touchy thing for real, but I would like to see people more healthy. I mean, I can give a shit about insurance. I'm more or less worried about somebody's lifestyle. Once you start being physically active, it's so true, man. You do start to feel really good. You start building up your confidence. It's so fucking great for oneself. And I can't really truly tell you how amazing it makes you really think about shit in your lifestyle.
Yeah.
It does wonders, man.
I'm just wondering too, because I'm like, I know for a fact, I was either really skinny or I was tripping before I started getting active in my life. And I noticed when I was in shape, and I'm fit now, even though I've been out of the service, and my job requires me to be fit. But am I like super fit like how I used to be? No, but I'm trying to get back up there again. The thing that gets me is I notice the difference in how you treat you when you're in shape as opposed to when you're not. And it's like a whole respect factor of itself, because this guy, if you look at yourself in the mirror, oh, this guy cares about himself, cares about how he looks. Because when you look good, you feel good. That was a saying too in the service that I got from one of my drill instructors. You look good, you feel good. And you live differently. You just live differently, man. Your routine is different. You're counting everything. You're making sure. I get it. People, they hate having to do extra things that might be tedious to their schedule. They're like, hey, well, guess what? I can fit like an hour nap right now before I go to the gym. I got to make sure I meal prep. I got to make sure I'm doing X, Y, and Z, all this kind of crap. And you may not like it, but things take time. And if you want to get there, it's going to take work. And I think that's what the issue people too, that they have issue with, is they get too lethargic and too lazy. They get too comfortable too quickly. And then before you know it, it's easy to fall off the wagon too. It's really easy, So as far as your method of penalizing, it could definitely work, because once it starts affecting people's pockets, then they start really thinking about the numbers.
Yeah.
Well, how should we take a balanced approach when it comes to public health and personal freedom? I think about things like that. Like, is that even possible? Is it possible to do both?
If I can say, bro, the first thing is to eliminate the idea of fat shaming. Like I get it, bro. I get the fact that people don't want to be told when they're doing something wrong, but shame and embarrassment, bro, are some of the most powerful weapons the society has, dude. And people aren't shaming you that just because it's not just because of the aesthetic aspect. Sometimes people really truly worry about the health of all the people in society, man. And I know that I'm not the healthiest person in the world, but when I see people that are so unhealthy that they can't walk, I'll go help them, and I'll go help them do everything that they need to do. But at the same time, I wish that they wouldn't allow themselves to get that far, bro. I wish that they'd get up and walk around instead of just sitting in front of their fucking TV eating TV dinners all night. Like, and
Okay, let me address something that you said real quick. So you're saying that people should not be shaming other people, right? But
no. I'm saying that people should be allowed to shame other people, bro. But we shouldn't have a concept of.
One of your first things that came out of your mouth is that you said you don't think that people should be fat shamed.
I said we should get rid of the concept of fat shaming. How people
the quotations of it.
Yeah, how people say, "Oh, you're fat shaming that person." Oh, and then they make you feel like you're doing something wrong. Like, just let that shit happen the way it happens, bro. Like, let people, because the thing is if you're a murderer, people fucking murder shame you. If you're a fucking child or animal torturer, people are gonna animal torture shame you. So, like, some things are shamed for legitimate good reason at the end of the day. Fat isn't what we're meant to be. We're not supposed to be obese, bro.
Give me a moment, Brian. Give me a moment, because I got someone else who might want to have their own particular opinion on it.
Real quick, Resla, before they go, I think the issue is too is when you go to the store. Unfortunately, the things that are very unhealthy for you tend to be a cheaper option, and the things that are healthier for you, depending where you go. So you got to realize where you go to shop. Help you out with your budget, and that's really what you're going to think. Because if you're going to break it down, I think it's fair to break it down like on all levels and all details, because that's what that's what I can't stand when I realize the whole food hierarchy. If anybody watches Food Incorporated, the documentary, like all the movie and stuff like that, how they break it down and shit, like all this stuff that's processed, all this stuff that's not even natural meat, all the stuff that's, because my uncle used to be in the farm. Well, he used to work in the farm down here in Cali. Now he's in Texas, but all the stuff that they was try to like push into the stuff, like the milk is not natural milk. I don't even drink regular milk. I haven't drank regular milk in years. All the shit that they get, like, and then even then there could be false mislabeling too in these freaking titles for these foods you get. Grass-fed
labeling.
Yeah, and then like grass-fed beef is so damn expensive. Sometimes that shit builds up. All this kind of thing, all these foods, all these ingredients you got to find and stuff like that. So like I said, it's gonna take time to work.
If you want to eat the healthiest, eat kosher, bro. Like, real talk.
Oh, you're Jewish? Congratulations.
No.
I'm sorry.
And I'm not even gonna give it a opinion because it wouldn't fare well for me. But their food is prepared in a way to keep them healthy, bro, that they don't give us. Like, in all honesty, bro.
So I've been on every side of this whole argument.
What up, Mom?
Like,
what's up, Uncle?
I've been steroided out. I've been extra lean. I'm naturally lean. I've been fatted in a motherfucker at like 370 pounds. And,
yeah.
Nah, I've been down this. I think it's a lack of everything. So, I think a lot of depression comes with it when it especially comes in like you said, getting out of the military. The military wasn't never skinny, but I wasn't. I was skinny in the military. Then I got to my regular size that I usually would get, with between 250 to 260. And I stayed there where I always was tape, but I can outrun anyone, or I can outlift anyone at that point in time. I was one of those people that are just naturally strong, right? And then you just get lazy. A lot of it is just a lot of people getting lazy, getting stuck in a way. Listen, I've lost weight just sitting around doing nothing. let's be honest. I'm gonna be 100% honest. I lost like 10 pounds sitting in my room doing shit, but I wasn't eating either. So Was it healthy? Fuck no, but it shit happens. I think less fucking calories in, more more working out or
Calories burned.
walking or whatever it is, calories being burned. That's all it is. That's the majority of it. It's just getting out doing anything. Because right now, I may not run every day, but I tell you what, I do a lot of. I do a lot more than the average person, right? The average person doesn't do half of anything a day. They literally just chill or work because we have real lives. A lot of motherfuckers have real lives where they think they don't have time to do it, so they don't do it. So it's I wouldn't even call it lazy. I just think just being
Life
fucking-
takes the other things.
life takes toll, man. Like even now, like I looked at myself, I was like, "Ooh, shit! I'm getting close. I'm over 300 pounds. Ooh, shit! Ooh. And then I'm back. I'm trying to get back down to what I normally am. So, I mean, does it suck? Hell yeah, every fucking day. But there's days I don't want to do shit, and then there's days I can't stop doing shit. So you have those days too. So each person needs to know. The thing about it is, I think most people should know their body. If you don't know how your body reacts to food, then you're doing yourself a disservice. Some people don't have the opportunity because they're just naturally skinny, and I call them tapeworm babies. But that's just me. You know, I don't
That's a
have that
fact.
luxury to be a tapeworm baby. So, you know, I'm in a real world where if I eat a motherfucking pizza and I better have a slice and a half and that's it. That's call it a day. But
No,
you know,
sir. I took down half a pie. I'm still good.
Well, what do y'all guys
my
think
thing is
about
I don't
this?
even eat that much. People think like people like me eat so much. I don't. I eat less than my kids. I eat damn near less than my wife. I mean, if I even eat, it just depends on the day, you know. But
Check it out.
eating out,
What do
I
y'all-
don't think the average. I heard y'all say a lot of people eat out. I don't think a lot of people eat
I
out.
don't think a lot of them. Well,
I
I
don't
think
think-
more people. I think more people eat out more than before. Than ever before. And again, we're also have to judge
DoorDash.
the factor of people who
Yes,
are
sir.
living out in more rural areas versus those who live in cities. Most of us do not live in cities.
Well, and it's almost like we live in an age of indulgence. So, and this is just my personal experience. This is purely anecdotal, but it seems like anybody that doesn't do drugs, they indulge themselves with food, and it's
You
crazy.
tell me I need to start doing drugs?
Hell no, sir. Sir, I don't
I was
indulge
gonna
in
say, this
food, and I'm
conversation
not
took a
doing no
turn.
kind of drug. The only thing you see me do is drink. That is
I
it.
smoke. I mean, you drink though.
No. And I don't hear about anyone losing weight from drinking.
No, because
Gaining weight.
it just depends.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
you can gain weight. Like I know if you drink Bacardi, there's no calories in Bacardi, so that'll be a good drink. Good.
Oh, you
Well,
gonna?
I'm just saying,
Well,
like,
I'm
nowadays-
not getting all that rum and tequila and shit like
What
no.
people eat as a hobby, though, is all I'm saying nowadays. Like more people, because I don't. That's one
There's
of
a
the ways
lot more
I'm able to
foodies.
stay
I give
fit.
you that. There's a lot more
Yeah.
foodies out here. Like people want to just, I guess, tell
Like
everyone
all those
what
fucking
food
mukbang
they ate.
people. What's those
Yeah.
mukbang people? The food reviewers.
Yeah. But I'm like that too. I like reviewing food, but I just don't have the stomach for it. That's the thing. I can't do it. My stomach will start fucking bleeding, dog. I swear it will. I just can't.
And I can't eat dairy, so that shit sucks. Like
Yeah,
y'all
dairy
can
is
avoid
another one for me too. And what did OG call me? He said a little baby stomach or some shit. I can't handle it.
Oh,
I can't. I'm gonna be honest with you. As soon as if I fucking eat, I have ice cream that's been sitting here for what now? It's been about 3 weeks now, or 2 weeks at least. Whenever we did that fucking challenge for that stupid ass, what the fuck was it? That gummy bear challenge. Yeah, I've had it since then.
Man, my diet's like 75% bread, bro. Like I eat so much bread and pasta and beans. Like that's pretty much. I don't like the meat nowadays.
You
It's all
Italian?
GMOs. Huh?
You Italian? Are you Italian?
No, I'm Mexican. Oh, I'm half Mexican, half German.
Oh, so
Marky
you're a Nazi.
He's a
Well,
bratwurst and a
Nazi
fucking
bean.
chorizo. No, he's a bratwurst and chorizo eater.
Huh?
He's a Nazi bean. It's okay.
Yeah.
Well, this fool eats bratwurst on a Tuesday and he eats chorizo on a Saturday.
Hell yeah. Hey, what's crazy is that you would think like the tacos are what keeps me fat, But on the code, like y'all said, man, when you eat like genuine Mexican food, it's usually it's a lot more healthy. And you like I'm telling y'all, when you go
Just
to
don't
Mexico,
salt it
bro,
too much.
yeah. When you go to Mexico and you eat for a week and you're working out down there, you sweat like it feels good, bro. Like it's like the healthy sweat, man. And then you come back to here, then you're eating all this processed foods. You feel slow. You feel like the sweat feels like it's fucking like those Play-Dohs getting pushed through that fucking thing filter or whatever. Feels like it's hard to come out, man. You feel like you're covered in grease. It's
That's
crazy,
the
man. You
problem
feel
right
it.
there's the processed food. That's the
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
we
I mean,
can't
I
get
don't eat
away with
processed.
it.
I
We
don't eat
can't get
processed
away
food.
from it here in America because it's
Sure you
accepted,
can.
and that sucks.
It's mass
Sure you can.
produced.
You just don't eat it. You stay away from it.
Well, see, here's the problem:
Everything's
the
processed.
mislabeling that they have on here. Even the fucking meat is over processed.
Yeah,
No
I
Yeah.
matter how
stay
you
away
look
from
at
it. I don't really eat like sandwiches. I don't really do none of it. Like I stay away from that stuff.
it. Like
What
they
do
said,
you
the
eat,
bread
So
Resla?
what
that
do
we
you
have
eat?
here in America,
So what do you eat,
not
Resla? Do you eat
bread nowhere
okra?
else in the world.
No, I'm not. I'm not something. I don't eat okra, but I do eat other vegetables. I do. I'm a person who cooks, so
Give us
I'm not a person
give
who
us
really
a
goes out to
rundown of
eat.
your meal.
What do you cook,
regular
Resla?
It depends on what I'm really feeling, but most of it is around meats, fish, meats, fish. Pasta is something I do once in a while. My only really unhealthy thing that I do get my cravings on when I'm hungry, but I don't feel like cooking is ramen. So that is my only unhealthy thing. But outside of that, everything else I cook. I'm a person who will sit there and literally break down an entire Lesnar
Do
thing
you
of saying
microwave a lot of food?
No,
You see,
no.
that's why you're in good shape, even though, like you said, you're not that active. Like you're not obsessing about fitness. Like you're still
Oh,
maintaining. You're still.
I obsess about fitness, but the reason why I don't go hard when it comes to fitness is because my issue is not like a lot of other people's issue. Like my issue is that matter of gaining weight, not losing it. Most
Yeah.
people's program
Okay.
is to lose weight.
Yeah, tapeworm, baby. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Wait a
I
minute. I'm not
that's
gonna
gotta
lie
be a rough
though.
life,
I'm not
bro.
gonna
That's a
lie,
rough
Resla.
life.
When I seen you with the bandana, you remind me of a Zumba instructor that does it on the
I
weekends.
swear to God, bro. Or fucking and one and
Got the big
two.
weights.
Hey man,
Yeah,
whatever works for you.
I like it.
Fucking tapeworm, baby. I wasn't lying.
Hey, but and that's a good thing too. It can be, but like I mean, I guess everybody's different, you know. Like chicks, and sometimes chicks dig skinny dudes, but sometimes chicks be digging chubby dudes too. So you
I
can
Oh,
ain't
win
never
either
had a
way.
I'm
problem
not a
getting a
skinny
chick
dude. I'm
as
actually
far as
at my
being
weight.
bigger
The
or
issue with
smaller or
me is
whatever. I
because I
just
don't
never had that
necessarily have
problem.
all the fat. Because I don't really have as fat much fat since I build nothing but muscle. When I get hit, my injuries really are there, like because it's strictly hitting muscle, not hitting fat. When I get hurt, I get hurt.
Bone
Did you
deep.
play football?
I did. I did for one of my seasons in high school, but that was it. After that I
Yeah.
switched strictly to track.
See that?
Oh
I
shit,
don't, I'm not a runner.
me neither,
I'm a
man.
runner.
I can't.
I'm a track star.
Unless it's from the cops or a dog, bro. I
Is
don't.
that
I
I ain't running from them
honestly,
either.
bro.
I ain't running from them either. I'm too lazy to do all that shit. Well, take
Nah,
me
me
to jail,
sir.
dog.
Listen,
Take me to jail.
we run from dogs, we run from gunshots, and
Hold on,
we
man.
run from baby daddies.
Damn.
I think
Here we go
like
again. CSI.
even now, even when that I still play football now, I run more than majority of the people in my fucking that I play with. I'm a active puller. Them motherfuckers want me to pull every goddamn play, and I'm a fat dude, so they know how
Your
much
guard?
tired I be.
Your guard?
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
every
Oh, so you got to
fucking play,
pull.
bro.
You got to pull.
Every fucking play. All of our run plays are pulls. Majority
Your
of our
left
pass
guard?
plays are pulls.
You
Say it
left
again?
or right guard?
It doesn't matter to me. I don't care. I like to know every position. It's
That
just
blindside guard, man. That left guard, that's the one that's got that stoutness that you ain't moving. Shit.
man, I just love hitting a motherfucker. That's my problem.
Hell
But my
yeah.
wife won't let me box or kickbox or anything like that no more. So, there's that.
So let me ask the question: Do do we have an idea to believe that obesity related health issues should be looked at, or rather they should be treated the same way as people who like have smoking related diseases, or even people with like who are individual paying for high insurance because of that, or high premiums or fines? Should be relating the two, like the people who are dealing with like obesity with people who
Well,
have
does that already happen
more
with
chronic.
smoking? I know they look down on it, but do they actually apply that, like with insurance and stuff? I don't know.
Yes,
Yeah.
smoking leads to
Yeah.
cancer, sir.
Yeah.
Then I would say, yeah, I would say that it's fair to apply it the same way.
Oh, sorry, you said something, Tom? No, he must. But yeah, that will lead to cancer. Let's be honest, people who typically end up being in a state of obesity are at higher risk for other hypertension, heart disease, and even diabetes. So yeah, these are other. There are very much higher things that run on the insurance plans.
And I do gotta say, like, I know that that's not the only way you're gonna be unhealthy, bro. Like my dad, I misspoke. I said he was 39 when he died, but he was 41. But he was diagnosed with heart disease at 39, and he was in good shape. Didn't do drugs at all, bro. But he smoked and he drank. But he was an angry person, man, and just an all-around unhealthy existence, bro. He got a heart transplant. His body rejected it. So it's like that's 41 is so young, though, you know.
Yeah.
True. That is true.
But you wouldn't.
I mean,
from looking at him, you wouldn't think he was unhealthy.
Yeah, I used to do the same thing until I was in my early to mid 20s, and I just said I'm gonna pick one or the other. I like my lungs because I was a person who ran a lot, so I know I see running still in my and throughout my future, and I'm still doing it. But drinking is just not something I'm willing to give up.
Well,
To
enjoy
me, it's the
yourself.
opposite. Drinking is the worst thing a person can do, in my opinion. Worse than heroin, bro.
No, because for the people who are out there smoking their lungs away, their lungs are not regenerating. If I do all my drinking within moderation, my liver regenerates.
Well, if you quit smoking completely, your lungs will be healthy within 5 years, but it takes a long ass time.
5 years is a long time, my guy.
No. Not if you got COPD.
Oh yeah,
no,
that's true.
then you're screwed.
Yeah, there's no coming back from that, man.
That's true.
Yeah,
And
I
I'm
like
not-
my air.
Like I
like
want
my
to take
air.
that back.
I want to hold
anyway.
my breath.
Yeah, I want to take that back completely because I do smoke, man, but it's the worst habit a person can have, bro. I wish I didn't. I wish nobody did, bro. Like, it's a horrible habit.
You're like a fucking chimney or some shit.
Bro, y'all make. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna turn my camera off and smoke a cigarette.
Fair enough. No,
But I don't
yeah,
have
man.
too many like that. But I guess that's just an excuse, bro. And I'm cucking myself, dog. Because real talk, like I don't have many bad habits. I don't even like to take aspirin or Tylenol and shit. But like, I smoke, dude. It's one thing that I can't kick, dude, at all. And I've tried everything, bro. I tried the gum. I tried for a long time. My friends called me Nicorette, bro, because I tried to actually like to eat that gum and push it with my homies, but they weren't buying it.
I got a possible remedy for you. It's called muff diving.
Oh shit!
What is that? What is that?
Hey,
I'm down with that diet. I'm down with that diet.
You keep that oral fixation up, and you won't have to worry about your smoking, man.
Shit. I used to bite my nails, bro, and then one day my one of my homeboys' mom was like, "Hey, I can fix that," and she took clear nail polish, I guess, and put garlic in it, and she painted my nails with it. I didn't know what was in it at the time, but every time you go to bite one of your nails, I mean, I can't eat my nails now anyway because my teeth are fucked because I don't have real teeth. But what do you call
seasoned
it?
your nails. They seasoned them.
Yeah, they seasoned them, bro. They were Cajun. But it tasted like shit. And I stopped.
Okay.
I don't know, just a small fact.
Gentlemen, I got to drop. I got a few calls I got to deal with. I might be back up.
All right.
See you guys.
Take it
Later.
easy.
Could criminalize? As far as a slippery slip might go, do we think that criminalizing obesity could lead to that kind of slippery slope lifestyle? I mean, like dieting, like exercise habits, like could these also become things that are regulated by law?
I think they need to be pushed because even in freaking you go to like your standard PE, like you don't even see kids be active anymore. Like around, I'm not saying I'm the guy that goes to the fucking walks around high schools and shit. And like, hey, that kid's not doing shit. Get his ass up. You know, I'm not the one with the whistle over here. I'm not doing that shit. But I'm saying, but like I'm thinking, like back in my
doing like,
well, think about it, right? Oh, you know, lethargy. You know, you know. No, but like the kids, like even when I was in there, right? Like most of the kids don't want to do anything. Like they don't even want to play tetherball. They don't want to go shoot the basketball. They just want to sit around, walk around, or go hide from the teacher, go be on their phone. They sneak out their phone or some shit, you know, and just, you know, not do anything. Like I was fortunate enough when I went to school, and I'm just speaking for myself, that I got weight training just because I was in football, and I had weight training for about 3 of my years, and then I had personal fitness my senior year because I wanted to do like a quick change, and I was able to be like, hey, like I learned as much as I could from my personal fitness instructor. Privileged, you know. Hey, just kidding. But you know, just learning from him and then learning from my other weight training coaches and like just saying, hey, what I did here, I applied. Everything that I learned, I applied that worked even more for me. I could see results in my body and my fitness and my breathing, you know, all that kind of stuff. So and then you gotta be careful.
Supplements, like, cause I've managed to avoid them, and I feel like he was saying a minute ago, the just making sure that you burn more calories than you take in, like that's worked just fine for me. Like, you feel like supplements are or is that just for like building muscle?
Well, supplements are mostly like the root word of it is sup, so it's like a surplus. So it's like you're adding it to your lifestyle. So, but it depends though, because some people have deficiencies, like some people have iron deficiencies. Some people have low levels of a protein intake. Some people have BCA, which is low levels of amino acids in them. So they have to take an additive of you know, basic chain amino acids. But you got to drink like a lot of water. A lot of people need to understand that when you're going to take certain supplements, you got to add more water, and you got to make sure you're going to be rationing and seeing what you eat. Like you can't eat what you used to eat, and then like the portion of it too, the portion amount. People want to eat double and like triples, and it's like, nah, man, you got to eat your one plate of food that has like your protein, your simple carbs that is like a sweet potato or healthy like non-salted rice, or maybe even like not seasoned pasta, and you know, bland stuff sometimes, and it's like, you know, your vegetables, antioxidants, nutrients. If you're gonna get like a thermogenic and you get like amino acid, ZMAs, which is like zinc and magnesium. Some people lack zinc and magnesium. That's why they have issues going to sleep sometimes too, and then recovering in the morning too.
You said the portion thing, that to me that rings true, because like the way I got fat, like I said, I was 300 pounds by the time I was like 15, and the way I got so fat was when my dad got diagnosed with heart disease. He was no longer allowed to eat anything. Like preparing for his heart transplant, it was all Mrs. Dash. It's like a salt substitute.
Oh, I hated that substitute. Oh, I hated that shit.
Mrs. Dash, bro, was the only flavor he got. But other than like, cause he quit smoking and drinking, he let us snack out, bro. Like he did have like snacks and stuff, and they said that was better than the smoking and drinking. And by the time I was like 15, 16, bro, I would eat a plate that was like a fucking volcano. Like it would literally be like a giant pyramid of food. And I started leaving, like it was my chick's idea at the time. She was like, why, if you want to start somewhere small, why don't you eat or serve what you regularly would eat and leave a tiny bit of each or leave a bit of each portion. And that was where I started. Like just being able to see the plate left on my food was like a good way to visualize that I was actually making some type of headway with doing something.
Well, yeah. I mean, well, first of all, you just bragged about how much you were able to eat, privileged. And then, you know, so you got that right there. Oh, no, I'm just playing.
Humble brag, my bad.
but yeah, like stuff like that, right? Like if you cut it to a third, cut it to a quarter. Because if you're saying you're packing that much food on your plate, you should only be eating about a quarter of that, maybe a third at the most. If you're really, and then that's for people that are like very skinny that want to gain weight. They have more of the option to eat more stuff because they're trying to put on weight and they're so skinny, and if they want to, you know, bulk and mass build and stuff like that, or if,
It's difficult.
but if they want to like lean out as they're building muscle and just be strictly putting on muscle and no fat, that's going to take even longer. But like I said, consistency and discipline, you know, so stuff like that. And then also you look into like the dash seasoning. Like half of my ingredients is dash seasoning, or most maybe, because I got to watch out for what I'm putting in salt. So for me, like it works for me because I can, you know, I'm Mexican too, so I can sprinkle lemon in my food. I can put a little bit of
Cilantro.
black cilantro. I can put like a dash of oregano. It doesn't matter. Like some chili peppers. It for me, that gives the fruit life. You know, like I said, I call myself a chef master in the freaking chat earlier. The chef don't make food, man. He makes art in the fucking plate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I have to learn. Like my girl, she'll cook. My girl will cook. Then I'm gonna be like, hey, well, I gotta watch what you're gonna put in it. And she knows by now the routines that we do for each other. So you know, even the pastas, like I'm very picky on like what kind of pastas we gotta get.
Still watch it that closely, bro? Because like I got to that point, but it got to a point to where I no longer had to do that. Like I just don't eat that much. Like to me, eating is more like something I do because I know I have to live. Like I don't really eat that much, and I don't have to watch. Like you still pay that close of attention.
For me, meal prepping, and then for me, because I'm active and I work out, and then I know I'll get hungry, and I know for me, like just the fact of progress that I've made, and I came from my life where I was other really like toothpick skinny, like not even belly, like 30 cents of belly rice type skinny. Like I was worse than that. And then I didn't even have the belly. Like I was like rather very skinny. Then I started getting fat when I was like a kid.
Oh my God.
And then I was like, bro, like, you know, what the hell happened? You know, it's like somebody ate me, you know? And so for me, when I got to the success that I did and like the achievements of getting a 6-pack, getting the obliques, getting that V taper, like, hey, that freaking quote unquote dick root, like, you know, they like to call it in the fitness industry. Like you have to get like the shoulders, all that kind of stuff. I for me, there's something about it where it worked for me. And if you really want to care about it, if you need to track your macros, that's literally what they say. Track your macros, all that kind of shit. I know we became a freaking gym. I blame your ass, Resla, with your freaking bandana right now. I blame you right now, bro, because you're yourself so-called skinny and shit and all lean and shit right now. But for me, it took a lot of work just to get leaned out and get ripped because, man, I remember when I was at one point, I was like 40% body fat. That was bad. Like it was 45% almost because I let myself go for a while. And then getting back down to like 12, 11%. Then I've only been down 9 or 8% body fat a couple times in my life. That shit was tough as it is because your body needs to have a certain level of fat in your body for it to burn. It can't be too low either because some people can die from just being too damn healthy, which is a thing, but it's very low.
Hey, don't get you skinny. Oh my God, bro. You chat's bro.
Oh my God. I can't. That's crazy. So being that we'll talk about people with exercising, right?
Oh, by the way, Wilkes, you piece of shit.
Yo, I can't.
I mean, he ain't lying.
Yo, I can't stand him, yo.
I don't know about the wetback network, but maybe the AIDS king is a little, you know.
Yo,
I thought it was true. AIDS thing is true.
Wild.
Yeah, AIDS probably will get you sick.
You don't believe AIDS will get you skinny? It will.
Tell us about it.
Hey,
I know, I do. I believe that. I just wetbacks network is a little too fast.
No, that's still true. It's a lot of Mexicans up here. It's okay. At least y'all legal Mexicans.
If you call 1.5 a lot,
hey, 1.5 is too many. You only need. Well, it's only the average is a half.
What is a half right now?
I'm a half.
That's crazy.
I remember I'm a Nazi bean.
Oh yeah.
So you guys were talking about people like working out and stuff like that. So do you think the rise of like the fitness culture, especially like when we see like social media influencers, like do they contribute to like really unhealthy expectations?
They don't really contribute to shit, bro, except for pumping up their own ego, because they don't really help a lot of people out, in my opinion. They just kind of show off. Like, to me, they don't really contribute to much, honestly.
People need to understand that what they're doing there in the fitness industry, those guys are pushing more of a business first. They're making the money first. That's their main objective first.
Yeah.
If they weren't making money, then they wouldn't be on there trying to do all this kind of stuff, to be honest. Maybe some of it really does want to help people because they don't want to have a fat America. which, you know, we're kind of past that right now.
Yeah.
However, but people, I mean, I think a small percentage of them are genuine people who do love fitness, or maybe gym rats and gym addicts too, because I am one at times, and you know, no shame in my game, but I think when you start overpricing the market, when you start, it's very saturated right now with a lot of content creating. And I
Yeah.
think when it comes to the fitness
sometimes they
industry,
push unhealthy shit, bro. Like I've seen them
Yeah.
pushing like them shakes and stuff that, you know, there's way too many chemicals in there for it to be healthy, man.
yeah, and like just for me, right? Like I like to buy isopure protein. Isopure for me works because it's low carb to zero carb proteins. So for me, I watch my carb intake too, so I have to be careful with that. So yeah, it works for me. And then just look up, do your homework and take your time when it comes to picking supplements. If you have to like check it, you know, pass your physician and go, hey, if I take this, you know, or maybe send you down to a nutritionist or something like that, and breaks you down to a meal plan and stuff, you know, see what helps and works for you. And the type of
Okay.
workouts too, you know, like calisthenics, Olympic lifting, you know, powerlifting, strength conditioning, high interval intensity training, which is HIIT. That's stuff that I do myself, and in calisthenics. So like the two main things that I like to do is high interval intensity training, calisthenics, and maybe strength test pulling.
So if you were, because you're obviously like on the advanced part of the spectrum, if you were to prescribe like
in the spectrum, it's like probably you sound like a smart retarded person or some shit.
no, okay, well the advanced end of the fitness world compared to myself, but like if you had to give some type of like a good place for normal people to start, like where would you say it would be? Like just getting out and getting some cardio, like getting their heart pumping?
To be honest, what you really need to do is you test yourself first. So the amount of push-ups and crunches you can do to start off and begin, like you weigh yourself, you start saying, hey, what percentage of body fat you can do. You can use like a BMI index, check your height and weight, and then from then you tape yourself if you want to. You try to see, hey, how many push-ups can you do? How many crunches or sit-ups you can do? What's your time and your running for a mile? See whatever you do when you start off with. That way you know, hey, this is my starting point. And then what's your finishing point? You know, check what size are your clothes. And then you're going to go and you're going to work out. You're going to see what you do. Hey, how much can I do? Dumbbell bench. You're going to make sure you stretch out. So you're going to warm up.
But you don't want to start too hard, too fast, right? Because a lot of people burn out before they even get really started.
So for me, right? I'm more of the concept of you give it 110% every workout. That's when you actually, that's the only number that matters. You give it 110%. I don't give a shit if you're doing the 10s or 15s or 20-pound weights. You're going to give it 110%. The whole concept of, oh, you're burning out. No, you're supposed to go hard. It's supposed to be uncomfortable because you're going to feel the pain. You're already in pain. You might as well get a reward from it.
And working out in a real manner.
Get sore.
Like not worried about how many hours you put in the gym.
Don't talk. Don't freaking talk. Yeah, don't be sitting in a fucking station and talking to everybody and shit. That's the thing that really messes with me, because it's like you're not burning anything. All you're burning is your gums. That's all you're freaking burning is your mouth. So just take the time to do your homework, learn how to because I'm drawing a blank right now, but you're going to do dynamic warm-ups. That's what it's called. So you're going to do something to keep the blood pumping. You're going to do like Frankenstein, something like leapfrogs. You know, you're going to do high knees, stuff like that to keep your blood pumping. You know, stretch out your arms a little bit, open up your lats, all that kind of stuff. Some stretches. And then when you do, you're going to find out how you're going to do the form. The only thing that matters when it comes to numbers is basically how many reps you're going to do. Because if you do a low amount of reps, it's usually going to be going towards strength training, depending on how much your weight you're doing. But if you want to do numbers, you got to do a good 12 reps if you can, or till failure. If you can do that, 10 to 12 reps. If not, going to do more to failure. And then do about 4 to 5 sets of a workout. Because I think 3 sets is too low. 4 sets is good moderate. 5 sets is actually really good, especially for burning fat and toning up too. People have this misconception that, hey, well, if I start working out, I'm not going to really lose weight. Because no, you actually burn more when you actually lift weights. And cardio also, depending on the heart rate, what you're doing, sprints actually burns more fat. Long distance is also very good. But it's also like you got to make sure, hey, 3 miles or more is actually considered long distance. 2 miles is cool and all, but a mile and a half warm up of an incline, power walking or jogging is a good warm up to wake you up a little bit too.
Jesus Christ, yo, that's way advanced, bro.
Yeah.
That a mile, I would probably die
A
on
mi-
a just a,
But-
a,
Mile
but-
is nothing.
A
a
mile
one
is
and a
nothing
half
though.
mile and an incline. That's a lot, shit to me.
Nah.
But I'm not saying you're sprinting it though. Hold on, I'm not saying you're sprinting it.
No,
But it has to.
pacing.
But remember the pacing, because your heart rate is what's going to determine your levels of, hey, this is what it takes right now for me to sweat and build up and burn
Yeah.
up and say, hey, I'm burning these calories. So if it's like a level 3 or 4 at an incline of like 2.5 or some shit, then that means, okay, that's my starting point to a warm up. But you're going to make sure that you're going to be writing down as you progress, week to week or every 2 weeks if you want to
So
do
if
something
your
like a
heart
bi-weekly
rate
thing.
Isn't like, let's say I'm on the bike, man, and my heart rate it has like gotten to
It's
a
chill.
calm place. Like, does that mean I need to step it up?
Yeah, that means that it's to the point where you're progressing because of the fact that, hey, this no longer burns me anymore.
You're
And
holding.
first of all, don't go on the fucking elliptical, because it kills me, because you burn more when you go on a Stairmaster or on a treadmill than you would an elliptical. Ellipticals don't burn. The ellipticals only burn about half, if not a third, of what you would burn on a Stairmaster or a treadmill. That's the
Okay,
thing that
well,
gets
I
me
like
too.
them because I can get on there and do like 20 miles, man. Like, I can sit on that thing and just get like literally past hours on that shit, man. But maybe that's
Well,
not
the
even a
time,
good thing.
listen, no, the time that it takes for you to do 20 miles on elliptical, you would take a third of the time if you're on Stairmaster or treadmill. So not
Okay.
only do you save time, but you burn more on a Stairmaster or a treadmill than on the bike machines, right? If you want to go to a spin class, there's spin class for beginners, middle, and advanced. Try doing a spin class. Trust me, you will burn.
So
You
let
will
me
burn.
let me bring up something that was put into the chat. It says, because Zoomer's been doing this for a while now. He believes that using less weights and more reps is the best thing. He says that, quote, lifting heavy is unhealthy.
That depends too, right? So Zoomer's not completely wrong. It's just
No, he's not.
maybe they didn't add. He or she didn't add. I don't know if it's a he or she.
Well, he said like
They-
90 reps, 15 pounds.
So like, yeah, but like, think 90 reps is doable within like what, 6 sets. So it's like you divide that, right, and it's like 18 reps or some shit like that. If
Yeah.
I'm doing my math right. So you think about that, but however, depending on what you're going for too, so you're gonna have to build up weight, because 15-20 pounds in your first month might feel somewhat, but then after your first month, you're like, this is too light for me now. Now I got to go to 30
Heavier.
pounds. Now you got to go
Yeah,
35 pounds.
I don't know
So,
anyone who's going to hold on to 15 pounds trying to do a dead man's lift. You need weight.
you know what I'm saying?
You need weight.
But that's
a
powerlifting,
power-
right? Like,
and-
that's a little bit.
So here's the thing too, right? People need to understand that the form is what matters. At the end of the day, you have to have good performance. You got to perfect your form. People need to understand that when they're going to lift a certain amount of weight, your form is going to take a toll on it, because of the fact, hey, if you're doing sloppy form, you're going to feel pain in areas you're not supposed to. There's a difference between pain and feeling the pressure because of the fact of you're getting soreness, your muscle soreness.
Shit, people even blow their back out or their asshole out doing shit with the wrong form, right?
Yeah, exactly. So you don't want to mess up a disc. You don't want to do a hernia because you're not breathing. A lot of people that have issue with the gym is they don't breathe because they feel like they might look ridiculous or something like that.
Yeah,
No,
that's what I was
one of the
gonna
best
say,
techniques
too.
to do when you-
Yoga, bro. And no matter how that sounds, man, yoga was like the most amazing starting point for me, because it showed me how to focus on my breathing, and that's helped with fighting. That's helped with running. Like, the controlling your breath is a big part of it that people don't really talk about.
Breathe through your nose. Try to breathe through your nose as much as you can, because if you try to use your mouth, you're going to get so much air, you're going to start cramping up. Your ribs are going to feel it too. So you have to make sure you're able to understand every workout you're doing, muscles that you're going to work out. So like one day you're going to do back and you're going to do traps. Then another day you're going to do shoulders and you're going to do deltoids or something like that. And then every time that I've worked out, or every other workout, I'll add abs for about 30 to 40 minutes. Just because of the fact that, hey, when you finally get that 6-pack or the 4-pack or whatever you got, plus the dick root V taper, you're going to want to keep it. And then it helps you. It's like one of the muscles, the core muscle is one of the muscles that you can work out every day. And then, anything from hang squats, or I mean, not hang squats, hang cleans, power cleans, You have front squats. You have regular Olympian squats, sumo squats. You have all these different types of workouts that help out, that work out multiple muscles in your body too. So just people, for them to know that, deadlifting. But then there's deadlifting where you don't use your back. You actually use your legs to pick it up. So when you go down, you're going to use all the muscles to help pick it up, not just the pen where you're just going straight bend over. And, because you put more pressure on your back that way. And that's where the issue starts happening, because you put so much weight on it. And then people need to understand when you're like dumbbell benching or benching and stuff like that, breathe. Because I see so many freaking people not want to breathe out, and they're doing a decent amount of weight or middle 50%, 60% of their max, and they refuse to breathe out. It's like, no, when you go down, you inhale, and you push up, you exhale.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's something that I learned even back in freshman year, of high school. So
High school, yep.
So that's just a thing, man. And then push up, the calisthenics, like I said, you can never go wrong with calisthenics. You can do them at your house. You can do them at the park. And you can go out across the street from the high school, like I said earlier, where you used to go at. And right there, and, saying, hey, maybe the kids will get motivated to do it with you or some shit. I don't know. But, pull-ups help a lot. I had to do pull-ups because when I was going into the service, before I went into the service, I was out of shape. I was like Uncle Tom said, I was 240, 250. Well, no, I was like 250 but I was stocky and built because I had to be for football. But I could only do one pull-up maybe. Then when I got into the service, got into shape even more, I was able to do over 20 pull-ups. So complete military dead hang types one. So that shit was not easy for me to get up to that point, because to a point I was like stuck. You're going to hit a plateau at times too. People need to understand that. You're going to hit a plateau, and it's your job to find out, like we said earlier, what works for you in your body. You're going to have to elevate your plateau. So now you're going to see, hey, well, now I'm at 135 for a while, but you're going to have to add other workouts to increase, whether it's your strength, whether it's your cardio. It means you're going to have to run longer. You're going to have to add sprints, stuff like that. Go to the field, go do 40-yard dashes, 60-yard dashes, 100 yards, meters, whatever the hell it is.
Right. But we're talking about people who are really much in the aspect of having shape, not necessarily people who are out of shape and they need to start figuring out where they need to get to. Even though you're mentioning areas where people can get started, so that's a great thing. But for people who are obese, I'm not too sure how far they're gonna go in the actual parks with calisthenics.
Well, if you put a cheeseburger on the floor, make them imagine it's a cheeseburger, they're gonna want to do a push-up. You're gonna put it. That's what my football coach used to tell my center on my team. He used to say, "Hey, I bet you had a freaking cheeseburger down there, you would squat more."
Jesus Christ.
That's what he was. Well, I'm just saying, bro. It's because sometimes people need to understand too. Like, you guys hire trainers. You're not hiring them to be nice to you. You're hiring them to do their job.
That's
And I
correct.
get it. The trainer wants the client to come back. I get it, because you got to be politically somewhat correct. But hey, look in their fridge, throw out all the stuff they're not supposed to eat. Now, I've gone to that extreme where I've gone to someone's house and they've hired me, or they asked me, hey, I want you to be my trainer. I want you to know what I'm eating. I want you to, all right, well, let's go to your house. Let's see what you have in your fridge, in your freaking pantry. And I'll start getting a trash bag. Boom, boom, boom. Next thing you know, it's a trash bag full of shit they're not supposed to be eating. That's poisoning their body.
Home? I take that shit straight home, bro.
No, I might just give it to the homeless or some shit, or people that don't eat, or they're on the street or something like that, or or just throw it out, or or if it's already open and shit, I just throw it in the trash. I was like, bro, I did you a favor.
Yeah,
$32.50, so that's it. So
hey, going back to the pull-ups thing in the military, bro, that was one of the highlights of my life, to be honest, as small as that is. We have this event from where I'm from called the C101C Sculptures, and there's all these stations of military people out there, and one of them is the pull-up contest. And those dudes ripped as fuck, bro. All of them, man, going and going and going. And I was one of the only people out there that could do 25. And I got an Army t-shirt, bro. It was tight, but it was
25 pull-ups, that's all.
25 pull-ups in a row, though. And you have to go from a complete stop, hang. But yeah, 25 shit, that's a lot, man. Doing them back to back.
And that's the thing too, is now the average for a person, or even a young individual, young man, young woman, they can't do even the general push-up that they should be doing. We have now the highest rates of hormonal imbalance. You have a lot of low levels of testosterone. You have the
Yeah.
level of muscle density when it comes to, hey, like this guy, can't even do 10 push-ups.
Now,
Can't
yeah,
even do
I
10.
ran into a guy in his 20s. Just 2 weeks ago. No, maybe it might have been 3 weeks ago. He couldn't do 10 push-ups.
What?
The guy was like 28, couldn't do 10 push-ups.
That's crazy, bro.
And then think about their lung capacity too. They probably can't run that long either.
That's
So
my problem right there, bro. Like I have the physical ability to do all of it, but once I get like my heart pumping too fucking much, like can't breathe, dude. I start like
Not
you
good.
said
That's
you
not
smoke
good in the
cigarettes.
fight, sir.
Yep.
You got cigarettes? Yeah, you do a lot of cigarettes, huh?
Yep.
Not
So
good
yeah,
in the
your
fight.
lungs are gonna mess it up. Well, however, though, the good thing is you stopped it now, as opposed to kept doing it until you're old. So
Well, I'm
good thing you
trying.
stopped it now.
You didn't
I'm
hear me
trying.
turn
I'm
the,
trying.
just turn the screen off so he could take a smoke?
I smoked a half.
Well,
He
hey,
stopped
now,
a damn thing.
well, and so yeah, that's funny because even when I was at my highest in shape, like right now I'm like at 80%, 75% of where my like highest shape was. But for me, right, I remember when I was like super in shape and I would drink a Dr. Pepper here or there, and I wouldn't feel bad about it because I would do 2-a-days. It's like I know I'm gonna work it off, and I'm not gonna. But then I would see some of my like instructors that were so fit, and they would drink it like nothing, like it's water for them sometimes, and I'd be like, what the hell? Like, where does it go for them?
That's what's like you're tripping me out because like, and I'm in good shape, bro. Like I'm in like from when you look at me. So like I might be more unhealthy than I think though because the three things I do, man, that are really bad is I smoke, I eat chips with almost every meal, bro. Like real
No.
talk. Like,
No.
and I drink soda.
No.
Yeah, I know how, but maybe they're worse than I think. Shit, tell me about it. Yeah,
You're not as kosher as you thought you were, huh?
No, sir.
I must not be.
And soda, and he said chips with every meal.
Yeah, well, because
Every
I don't eat
meal you get a
microwave
freaking
food.
a rattling bag afterwards. Oh no.
I got Cheeto fingers 24/7, bro.
So for me, I had to learn to replace chips with like something else. So for me, it's I got to get like cucumber slices, or I have to go get some like these healthy, skinny like popcorn, where it's like zero salt, zero butter, nothing like that, nothing like it's like bad in
Yeah,
it.
that could be good.
More, just replace that. And if you really want to add some lemon and tapatio or something, I'll take it easy on the tapatio because all these kind of things they can have salt in it and stuff.
Yeah.
So for me, that's just what I do, and it works for me. Some people, it's easier for them to slice up cucumbers and put lemon and pepper on it, black pepper.
What about
So
those potato sticks? The one they sell at like In-N-Out Burger is the
Don't.
French fries.
The what?
I wouldn't know.
You started wrong with Carl's Jr., so that's where you fucked up first.
He literally
So-
said In-N-Out Burger. I
thought you
wouldn't
said
know,
is In-N-Out or Carl's. You said Carl's Jr., didn't you?
No,
he said
In-N-Out.
In-N-Out Burger.
Oh, In-N-Out. Oh, I don't
Yeah.
know about that. I don't know. I think the
I'm
best, healthiest thing I've heard at Wingstop was the fact that they sell celery and carrots. So, that's probably the
They have
healthiest
like
there.
these
Just don't.
potato sticks, bro. They look like matchsticks. Like they're about as thin as matchsticks, but they have no salt. They have
Matchstick
no.
fries.
Yeah, basically, and they fucking suck.
Well, you're better off just buying your own potatoes and then just
That's
either you want to
exactly what I do.
just buy your own potato.
Frying them
I
back.
started buying more sweet potatoes. I used to not like sweet potatoes, but when I got older, I would put like organic, healthy, like honey on my freaking sweet potatoes.
Absolutely.
I love honey on everything.
I put cinnamon. I'll sprinkle some cinnamon on it or something like
yeah,
that.
nutmeg,
boom.
and you're good. You're good.
Sweet potatoes are amazing. So, and then the thing about sweet potatoes, they're very good for you too, especially when you're doing fitness and stuff too.
Mhm.
I drink pomegranate juice, so that's really good for testosterone boosters too, for your immune system, all that kind of stuff. Coconut water. You want to drink coconut water?
I love coconut water.
Yeah.
Hey,
Well, I know why you like coconut water, you island boy.
Oh,
No,
is that what
I'm
it
just
is?
kidding.
I'm
I'm just kidding.
an
I'm just kidding. Hey, hey, man, I had to throw it out there. I still got a groove back type thing.
Hey,
But
y'all
but-
touched on testosterone, bro. Like that seems to be a real issue, in my opinion. I feel like T levels are low all the way across the board. What do y'all think about that?
go ahead, Russ.
I mean, well, yes, for one, a lot of people are not in good, healthy shape, and there is some correlation that looks at least according to data, according to shit that's eaten. A lot. I do think a part of it is that we just don't have enough people that work out anymore. Everybody's already written in the data now that if you are working out, it raises your T levels, and
Yeah,
a lot of people just don't do it.
yeah.
We
And
need
then
to like. There's one thing I could tell you is old as all the Asians are on the other side of the freaking blocks on the other side. They all out there in the parks, all doing their stuff all the time.
Hell yeah. And you don't see very many fat Asians, honestly.
Well, again, they also come from
yeah, but look,
from a
look what they
country
eat
with
though.
portion control.
Yeah. Well, look what they eat. Like they eat a lot of fish. They eat a lot of like raw seafood type stuff too. They
Yeah, they
eat
eat a lot of
the
greens,
white
a
rice.
lot of
They
greens.
don't. You don't see them eat a lot of French fries. You don't see them eat a lot of potato chips. They might eat ramen for sure. They created it. They
Yeah.
did it. But
Some of them,
but
yeah.
some of them. But still, like they know what they eat, and they know, hey, they serve the MSG in their food for us. So that's the
Right.
whole thing. That's the whole thing of why when you eat Chinese food, you get hungry like an hour and a half, 2 hours later, because it's the MSG levels in it. So, and then for us, right, especially for men, you have to have a certain level of sun exposure because it's good for you, because it helps your testosterone too.
Hey,
Also,
that's
certain
probably a
foods,
big deal too. Like that's probably like a big component now.
because you think about it, right? Sun exposure means you're what? You're outside. You're most likely
Yep.
doing something active. You're either working out, you're either working, or you're taking a walk, or you're doing something where you're outside. You're not inside. You're not just sitting down. And then the other reason why testosterone levels take a hit is you're becoming more docile. You sit down. Maybe you sit at work a lot. You're in the AC, and you're not drinking enough water. Like you said, drinking sodas and potato chips like a sinner, devil.
Yeah, seriously.
So and then you have, and then like I said, if the greener the vegetable, the better it is
Better.
for you too. That's something that my personal fitness instructor told me when I was a junior or senior in high school, and that stuck with me too. And I said, what, spinach, kale,
Yeah, don't just do
cilantro.
broccoli. Please start getting into the other greens.
Yeah, because broccoli,
bro, fresh spinach.
So I do spinach, I do broccoli, I do cucumbers, I do cilantro. I'll do like parsley, and then I maybe like another sixth or seventh green vegetable, maybe some squash or something like that. Those are the ones, and then plus people need to understand like jicama. It's like the white substance that you chop it up, jicama. That's one of the healthiest, lightest things, and then also papaya. Papaya is actually very good for you. It may smell like ass, taste like shit, but it's actually one of the best things to eat for you too, especially as a fruit.
Can't stand
and
it.
then you get blueberries. You get you can get some strawberries in there. Certain ones don't have as much nutritional value. You get bananas. Make sure for your potassium levels, and then just the nutrients you get intake. Man, that's the thing too. People need to watch it.
Hold on, Marcus. Hey, General Specific. What do you? So we were having a conversation about basically how obesity is in the country, or just in the world in general, but also we were touching on a few things about should possibly, if it was a thing, should people be looking at possibly criminalizing obesity, or rather are people just judging, or rather just putting the big emphasis on obesity as a form of discrimination? And then of course I went through several factors that are going through it, basically the social issues that come with it, also in reference to the issues of people who deal with obesity, the effects that it doesn't just have on them, but also the people who have to, quote, take care of them. And then we also was talking a little bit about what are some strategies that might be put in place. Like, is that something we want to lean more on the government, or should we make it more personal? Maybe public health officials maybe have to tax more, or penalize, or even send fine to people who are morbidly obese. I don't know. That's pretty much where we went out with that before we started getting into more of a health kind of trend.
Yeah, I was listening. I was taking care of a few things. I was listening in my earbuds on the phone earlier, and man, you guys were really pumping me up, getting me motivated. No, in a good way. And I think that this is a really important conversation to have. I got a few points that to engage in your poll. I think that if we were to criminalize being obese, I think that the government itself and the FDA and among other things, any kind of a nutritionalist, the Surgeon General of the United States, all need to be put up on charges. As you probably know, the food pyramid has been absolutely upside
Absolutely messed
down.
up. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
It's
Now you're
been
talking, bro.
it's been upside down for, I mean, since I was a kid. And they're just now recognizing it. They're, the things that they were saying you should have less of, are things you should have had more of, and vice versa. So that said, if we're going to criminalize it for the fatties, the fatty McFattersons, yeah. After a while, yeah. I mean, I'm technically considered morbidly obese. And I was in the military. I led soldiers in PT calisthenics, by the way. Way to go, hands down. You don't need anything but your own
Shout
body
out
weight.
to you.
Yeah, I think calisthenics is, and I don't know if you've ever seen that or not, if you've seen the old like 60s and 70s, like black and white, where all the high school kids are doing calisthenics, they're climbing up walls and
Absolutely. Yep.
yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
and if you look at how buff they were, dude, I mean, they were all ripped, buffed, and even further on, I'm going to wax poetic here for just a second, and I'll land the plane. I apologize and thank you for the grace. I hope. That not only were they pretty buff back in the 70s, 60s, and 70s, but if you look at the World War II pictures, the average soldier could barely fill out a pretty small uniform. We were very small men and women. You know what I mean? We weren't, to see someone obese was an anomaly.
Right.
That's probably where the "I'm not fat, I'm big bone" came from.
I blame Lizzo.
Yeah, exactly. But so well, even she's losing weight. So the interesting thing is, you fast forward to now. If I were to go to Europe and have the same exact diet that I'm having here in the States, I would drop about 15 pounds in 3 months. But if they were to come to Europe and have the same exact diet in Europe and come here, they would gain about 25
They
to
would
30
gain, yeah.
pounds in about a month or 2 months, somewhere in there. And so when they go back, their weight. So there's something that our government is putting in our food, whether it's pesticides or whatever they're putting in there, the food, different food dyes, they're poisoning our water, they're poisoning our food. And we think as Americans, we're so sophisticated, we're so protected because we got the FDA and we got the World Health Organization, we got all these different things. And I would say just be cautious, and I would listen to these gentlemen that you're talking to. If you can possibly grow your own food, I would grow your own food. If you can your own food, I would
Oh,
can
they're
your
trying to
own
stop
food.
us from doing that now.
What's that?
They're trying to stop us from growing our own food now.
Yeah, chickens. They're trying to. I had a dog that killed 6 of my chickens recently, but I had 20. I was up to 21 chickens in my backyard, and I'm in the city, and I live on like less than a third of an acre of land. I've got a compost section. I've got 9 raised garden beds. I've got 2 grape arbors. I've got a mini orchard where I have every 10 feet. It's 30-foot long, and there's 2 rows, and every 10 feet I have a fruit tree. The best time to plant a fruit tree is 5 years ago. The second best time is today, to get a fruit tree in the ground, because it takes a while for you to get any kind of fruit, for it to come into fruition. No pun intended. And I've got raspberry bushes, berry bushes. I mean, I would rather not mow a single blade of grass on my yard. I'd rather just walk on wood chips to go and pick food. That's it. I'm not interested in the grass. I'm not interested in aesthetics. I'm interested in functionality. However, that said, and here's my exclamation mark. Thank you so much, gentlemen. I do not want to miss another one of these conversations, and I hope you have these kind of health conversations, because I think men being accountable to each other and motivating each other, and we motivate each other a lot different than women get motivated. Like when I try to motivate my wife the way that we would motivate each other in the Army, she kind of gets real sad and starts to cry because she's like, "Why are you yelling at me?" I'm like, "No, man, I'm trying to encourage you. You can do one more." So it's good to have other men to be able to kind of hold us accountable and to motivate us and pump us up and inspire us. And I just want to say thank you, gentlemen, for this conversation.
No, wholeheartedly. I
For
wholeheartedly
sure.
agree on that. One thing I have to tell a lot of ladies that I meet, when they say, I think I should get into the gym. And the biggest excuse, the number one excuse that I always hear why they don't get into the gym is because they say someone else won't go with me. The number one excuse.
Whatever happened to self motivation? Like I used to go with myself, just not because if I didn't have anybody. I just had a playlist, and I didn't even take a pre workout half the time or most of the time.
Yeah.
I just had my playlist that pumped me up enough, and I was like, okay, let's go do some
And I said, there goes
diamond
your
push it.
biggest difference right there. Because this is what I would tell them. I say, if you find the courage, and I have to explain it to them, if you find the courage to do it by yourself, all those friends that you've been waiting on, that you've been skipping all these gym days on, when they see you looking better, they'll get motivated to follow you. But you sitting there to wait till when you're both motivated to go won't happen. It won't come. And that happens all the time.
Put
Every
down the
time.
Ben and Jerry's and pick up the Jenny Craig.
Facts. That is a fact. You know, there's this thing where they try to do this whole gym couples thing, and even my girl, she tries to do it with me. Oh, let's go to the gym at the same time. Even when we go to the gym at the same time, I'm not gonna be nowhere near you. I'm gonna be doing my thing. My goals are different from your goals. I'm not there to go to the gym to take care of you. I'm here to take care of my needs because I should be on my shit like you should be on your shit. But I also imagine on days where I'm working and you have free time, you should go to the gym the same way how it is with me.
Or work out at home. Like do like an hour workout at home. Do what you gotta do. Write down what you gotta like do. And then just set a timer and then just put a playlist on. I don't know, do like a little shake if you gotta do like a little pre-workout, or you want to drink a cup of coffee, cup of Joe. Some people do that. And that pumps them up enough to go, hey, all right, dumbbell bench, all right, inclines, all right, dumbbell flies. You know,
I'm the same way. I'm
they
the
do
same way.
freaking what's the other one called? God damn
Like
blank
I'll
right
do
now.
nose dives. I'm doing all this shit. Like, and then like I look at my girl, like, you know, we are on the opposite, like saying, well, how much work did you put in? If I know I gotta be some really quick, I will go hard for 30 minutes if I really need to. Rather than she feels like really accomplished because like I was in the gym for 3 hours. I'm like, yeah, but what did you do? What did you do though, really? Because I really sweated my ass off in 30 minutes, like really hardcore, like killing myself. But you were probably doing la-di-da. You probably sipped your little water for a little bit. Like, what did you really contribute to those 3 hours? Because time is valuable.
Not just that, but like if I know that I'm putting my hard-earned money into a gym membership, if I'm gonna go to the gym for 2.5 hours, I'm getting my money's worth for those 2.5 hours. Meaning I'm gonna use as many of the machines that are working out for my muscles, using the cardio machine, going to the steam room. I'm even gonna probably shoot some basketball here around, and then I'm probably gonna go shower. But I'm gonna make sure I use my sandals because I don't want to get no freaking fungi or some bacteria. Then boom, 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 then I'm out. Like I don't have to. I can't stand when people waste their time. Like I said earlier, 45 minutes of opening your mouth and talking, as opposed to those 45 minutes where you could be working out. Can you like, say, hey, you want to spot me or you want to work out together today? We could. Cool. All right. Now we're gonna do this workout. We're gonna keep up. All right. So boom. I don't know why. Just people don't use it as they should, and they're like complaining about the results that they get. Well, there's the result you got.
That's absolutely a fact. I listen. I agree with that. I just like the same way how people just have schedules for the things that they need to do. Mondays this day, Tuesdays this day, and I have to always tell people this: do not do cheat days. You can do a cheat meal, no cheat days.
Yep. One meal, one meal a week of a cheat. That's it.
Maybe
One meal.
doing like, oh, I could just do this whole day because the rest of the week I'm like, no, that's not the way that works. You must be
'Cause
consistent.
you have to track everything too, whether it's like your macros, your micros, like all that kind of stuff. If you're on a paleo diet, you're in a keto. If you're doing the intermittent fasting, if people work differently, so you're gonna find out what, like I said earlier, works for you. I have to do my meal prep for chicken, for vegetables, for rice, or for potatoes, stuff like that. I go and do either fish or I do ground turkey. There's even ground chicken. You can buy bison. Bison
Oh,
is one of the
absolutely.
best that
Like,
that has a
great.
lot of protein in it. So liver. Like I'm not a fan of the liver meat, but I know that the liver itself is one of the healthiest things you can eat. However, it tastes like disgusting for me. And I'm Mexican. Like they make tacos of tripa, which is liver tacos, but they're disgusting to me. But eat that kind of stuff if you want, but make it healthy. Watch out with your sodium intake. Cholesterol, hypertension. All this kind of stuff that clogs your arteries. And then just get creative in the kitchen. If you can mix it up, make fresh salsa if you want, but just watch for the salt. And then your sugar intakes, saturated fats. Watch the stuff that's like the manufactured sugars, dextrose, glucose, all that kind of stuff. Those are all manufactured, hydrogenated, freaking superimposed,
We're
super
not we're
pushed.
not gonna be locking our teas on freaking sugar canes either. Well, What can I help
Watch
you
out now.
with?
I am here as a heretic of chaos.
Yeah,
Wrestler,
I can tell. Yeah.
Wrestler, I blame you for going against the emperor's will. You have recommended nothing but candies, sweets, pies, sugars, cakes, all of that. And America is fat because of you, wrestler. It's your fault.
I am out here trying to save lives, sir. I even recommended to a chain smoker that if he wants to fix his oral fixation, he needs to go down on women more. I even said that, sir. I'm here
You're
saving one
absolutely
life at a time.
Doing
yes.
God's work.
Yes. Every man needs to partake in vaginal nutrition at least 3 times a day. You're absolutely, especially if she's over 250 pounds. Listen, it's the healthiest, it's the healthiest, juiciest, most delicious nutrition you will ever have in your life. You're absolutely correct.
How do you think I keep my beard so soft? I don't use any. I'm not a products guy. It's the juice. You know what I'm saying? You got to get down in there. You got to get right in there,
This is
man.
what I tell people. That this isn't hair. This is residue.
That's right. Exactly. And you listen, you treat it just like a grill. You just never clean it off. It's just that seasoning,
Wait,
baby.
you didn't have that before when you went down? You just came back up and you had it later? Is that what you're saying? What?
Hey, you know what we call it, right? Just for men.
You're damn
I
right.
get
Well, I
degree.
mean,
Hey, degree.
for women, it makes the lips juicier. So when women go down on other women, it makes them more plump and more juicier. So the more she does it, the better it is.
Another one too. I found out too. I did my own homework. Was bone broth meat from the beef. The beef bone broth itself, you get a protein of it too. It's actually very good for you. I was surprised. I was like, I didn't know this for years, but
Does that work for pork as well? Because I do make my own pork bone broth, and I do my own.
I usually
I guess
use
it
chicken or bone, but pork I haven't tried. I don't really eat a lot of pork.
I think when it comes to the way, it depends on how you're raising your livestock too, though, like what you're feeding your pig. Because I think when it goes to the mass-produced farms, the corporate farms at least, they will shove anything down into a pig. But you sound like you're a guy individual who actually cares about what you're putting in your body. So as long as you feed the pork good, I think once in a while, to that, I try to stay away from red meat as much as I can now. For most often, I try to have red meat at least maybe once a week, maybe. But I limit it there, if not twice. But twice is pushing it for me. For me, I just try to have ground turkey. I know they sell ground chicken too, which is crazy. And then also, fish, depending on what you do. Do that. That'll help out.
You can replace butter with like beef tallow. That's one of the things that I've done. I use a lot of beef tallow. Beef tallow is very good. It's flavorful as hell. I use it to cook my steaks.
You can make your own too, man. You can get those bones real cheap from a butcher, and then it takes a while though. Or not the bones, the fat.
Yeah, that and I eat a lot of bone marrow too. So I use butter a little bit. Like when I don't eat bread. Rest, I'm getting ready for this fight, so it's a lot of things I cut out. But bread, sugar. I will use honey. Like if I just need like a little hit of sugar, I put like lemon and honey and water, and I just do that. But that's okay. But not too much though. I've done the meat only diet once before, and it had great benefits. Thing is, you have to be prepared for it though. It's expensive. Yeah, a lot of people think it's not, but it's expensive because
it is.
Especially in this day and age of time. I believe I was talking to Trucker Yo the other day, and he was telling me that in Texas where he lives, I think he said like a 5-pound thing of like ground beef was like damn near $18 to $22. And I was like, wait, what? But yeah, definitely if you want to just like a lot of people, they don't really pay attention to the nutritional value that's in the food. And because they don't look at those boxes and because of how it is that they don't really get active every day, it's a lot of things that you can do with your diet to really be helpful. And also, I mean, if you look at some of these professional athletes, this is one guy, he eats pizza and pasta every night, but he's in top condition at all the time.
That's my diet right there. When you guys are telling me no butter, see, I'm a gourmet sous chef by trade. When I was in between my break in military service, so fat is flavor when it comes to a chef, right? Heavy cream, butter.
Oh yeah,
I figured,
You
yeah.
know,
yeah,
clarified butter, you know, you name it, pork fat, you know, I mean,
yeah.
I cook it off because fat is flavor. And
It is.
it's a hard thing for me to hear less butter because I'm like, no, man, what are you doing to me, man? But yeah, I agree.
I get you. But see, like now we've become so accustomed to putting butter in some of these oils that we're so used to it by now that it's just so like it's in us now. Like to hey, we order something outside, we make it at home. Now you're gonna try to find some alternatives for something else, and that's the thing that I had to figure out when I was younger too. Because even like making my eggs, I won't use every egg yolk. I'll use egg whites and then I'll take some of the egg yolk out. But then I'm like, well, fish oil, there's a lot of like omegas in the egg yolk itself, as opposed to having to buy fish oil vitamins too. So then there's that surplus of that.
Yeah,
Um,
there's nothing like your own farm fresh eggs, man. I'll tell you the difference is
Yup.
night and day. That's one of the big, and chickens are super easy, man. Super easy. You just got to
Yeah.
clean a pen like once a month, you know.
See, and that's the thing too. Like for you, right? You said you had like 20 chickens. Like you give that to a Mexican, we're not gonna be making eggs. We're gonna be fighting them. So we're gonna be putting damn fucking fighting cocks. That's what's gonna be crazy.
I can't have roosters, so that's a saving grace. Can't have roosters inside the city limits. So
Just tell us to my dad.
it's a nuisance, Well, a town and city, or I don't know. Yeah,
Man, yeah. I just think it's dope too. Like I think it's I was thinking goat too, but I don't know. Maybe you might know more than me. But I was thinking maybe like goat or maybe lamb.
lamb's really good. Greek and Italian, so I definitely enjoy some lamb. And the doner kebabs that we used to get over in Germany when I was stationed over there. Oh my god, dude, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I probably don't because I'm a city boy. I went to YouTube University to
Same
learn
here.
pretty much everything that I knew. And because I'm trying to earn my country cred, man, I'm nowhere near there yet, but country boy
I
can
kind of
survive.
got
I'll
that
tell you
from
that
your
right now.
Patriots jersey. I kind of got that from your Gronkowski jersey a little bit. So, I'm not a Patriots hater, but I do like I was a fan of Gronk and them. So I kind of got that a little bit.
Yeah, I was a Pats fan back when Steve Grogan played for him back in the mid to late 70s, back when 3 wins was a banner year, a great year.
Yeah.
Hey, we got 3 win, boys. We might get 5 next year.
Drew Bledsoe.
Yeah, pre-success. So yeah, I was definitely not a fair weather fan or whatever you want to call it. So, but no, I don't know, man. Ever since the whole kneeling for the flag thing, not to make this political, but it just really left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. So
yeah, I agree.
I mean, when I was in the military, I wore a uniform and I couldn't be political. Not in my uniform. So I had a job. I had to separate. I voted for Obama twice, man. But you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I mean, it was a bad mistake. I found out later he wasn't that great of a president. As a matter of fact, I think there's still some ripples that are happening in our country right now that people are going to find out about. But man, I'll tell you that I was a Democrat all my life, but I didn't leave the Democratic Party. They left the reservation, dude. They went so far left that it's like I can't even. I'm independent now, so. But sorry, man. I just feel like I just sucked all the love out of the room.
No, you're good. No, I just listen, bro. We mute.
No. This is stuff that I talk about, especially that on the other one of my other team members that we talk to on the porch, Uncle Tom. He talks about stuff like this, as well as like LA Wilkes. Like we get into a whole bunch of stuff like that, especially like on our debate nights, which is like we have like Mondays and stuff that we talk about like even on Thursdays or so, even on Fridays. A lot of it gets into political stuff. So we're really following a lot what's going on in candidates or even the senators or representatives, like because we just have to point out a lot of the silliness that just happens. And these people are supposed to be quote your representatives, and just how many people are just not really engrossed in politics, and they need to be. And in fact, it's funny, before I even put this script up to really talk about this, one of the scripts I was working on is the fact that people are just more invested in celebrities than in their own judicial process, their own legislation of what's happening here in the country. I'm just trying to figure out how to work that thing out so I can make sure I do a good live with it. But yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
It's the hard part about it is you're gonna tick off. We're so bifurcated in America that just even trying to talk sensibly, just trying to point out empirical reason, evidence, data, and facts is gonna offend some people. from both sides. You know,
Yeah.
they talk about Trump derangement syndrome. Well, I've seen pro-Trump derangement syndrome too, where they're,
Mhm.
you know, they're just off the frickin' reservation on that end too, on that end of the spectrum. I don't know. I like to sit and reason with people. I like to sit and have a conversation with people. And but when people are so tribal, I mean, and it's not an accident that we're so tribal. I mean, think of all the different lines that we're tribal on. Gentlemen,
Mhm.
men versus women, gays versus straight, Republican versus Democrat,
Yep.
blacks versus white, Hispanics versus everyone, because you motherfuckers like to cut people. But
Technically, they cut in line. That's the type
they
of
cut
cutting
in
he's
line.
like trying by.
No, but I mean, seriously, I mean, it's just like it's not accidental. This isn't a bug in the system. This is being done by design. Because if we sit in this room together, we got a black gentleman, we got an incredibly Mediterranean, beautiful Greek Italian man who's really pale because I sit in my basement too much, and we got a Hispanic gentleman, right? And this right here is not what our country or our government wants us to do. They don't want us to have this kind of conversation. They want us fighting each other. They want us polarized. And
American History X.
yeah, well, I mean, I mean, it's just absolutely insanity. It's absolute insanity. I've got way more in common than and like I've had these conversations. I don't know if you guys remember Periscope from back in the day.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I remember.
I was like an OG on Periscope. I'd done Periscope for like 6-7 years. You know, like so about 12 years ago, I started on Periscope, or went however many years ago. And I used to have these conversations, and I'd be out in my front lawn, and I have like the flag up behind me before the wind snapped the damn pole. I missed that flag. But you know, I had my flag up behind me, and I said, "Listen," and I'd have it facing me, and then showing my flag behind me. And I said, "You know, I get it that this flag means something to me that it might not mean to a black gentleman or a Hispanic gentleman, but you can make it mean something to you. You can make that flag have value to you and be something you're willing to fight for and make it your flag." You understand what I'm saying? There's an ownership there that each American citizen can have. And like when I was in the military, man, we were freaking green, dude. Some of the best men I ever freaking served with had way different color skin than me, way different cultural backgrounds than me. I mean, hands down. But we had that tie that bound us. The tie that binds is that we were serving something greater than ourselves, not ourselves. And unfortunately, our country put us in really crappy situations.
We've lost that.
Yeah,
absolutely, 1000%. I say it a lot. When I'm visiting other people's channels, or we have these issues that become one of my things that I know it pisses some people off, or at least rubs them the wrong ways, when I just turn around and I talk to people who like to talk about race or like to talk about color or whatever. Because my thing is that I just really can't stand talking to blackity blacks, and that's the only way I can label them. Because like, you see no other race other than your race and white people. I'm like, yet there are so many other races that are doing well and just not learning from it. You know, then there's this big harp about, like, you know, the community, and I'm just like, that's not what I see. It's not what I see, because like what we say that we would like to see in the community, I don't see it. It's just wishes. There's no real action. So I'm like, just until I start seeing it, you don't have me there.
Yeah.
You
No,
mean
I agree 1,000%. Just because, you know, I know how far the pendulum has swung from back in the day, like 15 years ago. Just going back to the late 2000s, I was like, because I know that time Obama was coming in, and then when I served myself, yeah, Obama was in too. But whether I would have voted for him or not, he was going to be the president, and we were going to have to be like, gentlemen below me. I forgot, I didn't get your name, boss. I'm sorry.
So generally specific, or GS? You call me GS, so that's fine.
All right, yeah, you know, the same with GS. I was like, you know, generally specific. It's like we had to separate our personal biases or our personal opinions of what we think, because we're under contracted. Uncle Sam owns our butts. So we go and serve, and you know, whoever that is, Republican or Democrat. And unfortunately now, it's like Lord of the Flies. It's like Lord of the Flies, and you literally will get more targeted more than ever now, assassinated or even attempted or shit thrown at you. We just have a guy right now who I'm going to be voting for this coming election, and he's been attacked, assassin attempted twice already, in a span of less than 2 months, I believe. I'm not mistaken, or not 2 months or so. And the other side is just trying to like put it under the rug, and now we have to say, hey, well, it's going to be about the haves and have-nots, and unfortunately, the flag now for some people is like a stain on them, while the others, we know what the flag means to us. For those who are inside,
So, Mac, you served?
I did from 2011 to 2018.
What branch, if you mind me asking?
Marine Corps.
Oh, Marine. Oh, so
Yes.
what was your favorite flavor of crayon?
Green, light green, and dark green. Yeah, no, I've heard that before. Like, this is like the fourth time I heard it. Ever since I've been on these panels, I heard it. So, yeah, man, just I take what I have the time to take down and sit down with somebody across from me, regardless if you're white, black, Asian.
Mhm.
I don't give a shit who you are. We all believe the same, anyways. We may not have the same background ethnically or culturally, but we're in the same country. So you're a taxpayer. I'm a taxpayer. I would hope, so, we're all going to go to work. We're going to go do what we got to do in our life and, provide for ourselves and for our families and our loved ones. I just hope you don't fringe upon that and try to hurt us in the process. But yeah, man, it is what it is. Unfortunately, I think we have to lead by example. The ones that know who we're in, we have to show it. And for those who want to come in, you're welcome. If you're not on that time, I can't allow you to disrupt it for me. That's just how I like to tell people too. Like, respect my boundaries. I'll respect yours. We can sit down and have a conversation. It's not that big a deal. I'm gonna log off right now when Resla ends this live. We selling sugar, so something like that. Yeah, like, I'm gonna leave the stream and I'm gonna be like, hey, I'm gonna continue on with my day. Hopefully you guys are well. I'm gonna do my 8 and hit the gate. That's it.
To answer your question, Robbie, no, they're not gonna criminalize corporations. That's not happening. That's not gonna happen.
In what
Most
context?
well, I'm not even sure, but the idea is that we won't put this in. We definitely sure won't put this in corporations' hands if we are not really looking to put it in the government's hands. And I'm not even advocating that they should, which is why part of the conversation is that it should this become more of a government thing, because the way how I looked at it is that you even said it yourself, GS, when people come over here, they tend to gain weight. When we go out to other places, we lose weight because everywhere else has portion controls. When we're here, they get the bigger stuff and the food is not natural.
That's actually a really good point. It's all the additives plus the portions are insane.
Mhm.
That's a really good point. Actually, I didn't even think of that part of it too.
Everybody comes here and says, why is there so much food? Why am I getting all this chicken? Why am I getting all this fish? Like, we're always giving too much food.
Yeah.
Most people they walk around with extra because people who are not from this country are just like, Jesus, like, this is why they also think that we have so much in abundance. But this is also why we have an obesity crisis.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm part of that, man. To my own shame, and I'm sitting here confessing before you gentlemen. Call me a fatty McFatterson and tell me to stop shoving food in my face, and I'll thank you for it. I want you to fat shame me because I don't want to be a fat freaking piece of crap. I don't really have an excuse. I know how to do these things. I am technically I'm disabled, 50% disabled. I got jacked up jumping out of airplanes really bad. I was a paratrooper. That is true.
Right
However, what's that?
I said right on.
But I mean, I wish I wasn't. But yeah, I mean, it's man, I'm telling you, I don't have an excuse. And when I hear you guys talking the way you're talking, I'm telling you, I can't be the only one that it's motivating. I can't be. But it's pumping me up.
Somewhere out there, General, trust me, they're out there. They're going to find an excuse to say that we're providing some type of hate speech against fat phobia. So.
Oh, well, like I said, this is why I tried to tailor the conversation to really just have the conversation. I even premised it in the beginning of the conversation saying, hey, if you are not going to be able to take this information, if you're quick to just feel insulted the fact that we're even talking about obesity in general, go somewhere, go get it, get your yelling out, throw whatever you gotta throw, and then come back later and then spend time to actually listen.
Yeah,
Because it wasn't an episode at all about fat shaming or whatever. But the question is what do we do to get on a better program to reduce obesity? Because I don't think that this whole accept me as I am and I can eat whatever I want and get out of control, which is why I even said that if you want to eat whatever you want as a personal choice, cool. But it's not just your body. Well, let me not say that. That's true. But it's not just your decision because other people have to deal with what happens with you afterwards. Whether it's the EMS that have to try to take you out, someone has to break up your apartment. Let's just say you pass away. Not that you probably don't care if you're big enough, but if they have to destroy that place, that stops some other family from being able to move in for the future. Like you don't think about the long-term ramifications for your personal decision, how your family has to interact with you. I think it might. I can't remember if it was you, Marcus, or if it was Blind that said if someone has to come wipe your ass and clean your ass as a grown adult. Like there's so many things that just need to be taken a look at.
That's it's crazy that you said that because I asked my wife one time because she works in the medical field, and I said how can someone that big wipe their own butt? And she looked at me and said they don't.
They don't.
They don't. And
Yeah.
so meaning you got to put a smile on your face, and you can't make any comments about how they stink. You know what I mean? Like it's about being professional, but I mean I'm sitting here trying to bend over, tie my shoes, and I'm out of breath sometimes, dude. You know, that's a problem, man. It's a problem. So what do? I adapt. I put my foot up on the second stair from the bottom, so I don't have to bend over. No, how about just get in shape?
He's a smart thinker. He's a smart thinker.
How about just get in shape, lazy? Right?
Even Robbie sitting there asking, why is Grandma selling us 1,000 calorie cookies every day? Just one cookie is 1,000 calories.
That's insane.
Yeah, like the box where they make like those fat cookies, like the ones that are customized. Yeah, each cookie's 1,000. I seen a person eat a whole box of them one time. I was like, bro, it's like 10,000 calories on one.
Out of here. That's
and they're doing a mukbang challenge or whatever. What was called the food review things. Like they're eating the whole damn thing, and it's like, how can you do it? I was like,
I can't. Like I've seen those cookies that they just try to sell to, like they try to give you all the calories but never 1,000. And I remember just going into like close to half of that. I was just like, this shit. First of all, this shit is disgusting. It is nasty. For number one, I don't care what you want to flavor it as, peanut butter, chocolate, whatever. This shit is nasty. And then I just can't eat it. I can't. It's just it feels like it's too much.
I'm trying
to say that there's one cookie that has 1,000.
I got to figure out a way to make liver taste good because it not only is an incredibly affordable cut of meat, because nobody really wants it. As I think it was Mac was saying, it's probably one of the best things you could put in your body. I mean, have you seen the news articles about the I think it's orcas or it's some kind of animal like a large whale or something. We're being harpooned or being like basically rammed into by orcas, and all they were eating, they were just missing the liver. They were basically. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think I've seen it. It's like a news article, right?
Yeah, like about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, they said they've been noticing a lot of them, and they're only missing a liver. It's the weirdest thing ever. So something's killing them just to take the liver.
Yeah, that's the thing, because even if you think about it, right? Like, and generally we'll understand, like, Resla, you probably, I don't know if you had them, MREs, they're supposed to have about 1,500 or 2,500 calories, depending on what kind of more, right?
It's like 3,500, 3,600 per MRE if you ate the whole thing.
If you ate the whole thing, but like they would have us like ration it, so like we eat half or we eat like a third of it or something like that, and then we try to spread it out. And they say you should only eat about a MRE and a half a day at most. But I'm like, that's a lot of calories, and it's like, but it depends if you're really active, you're physical, you're hiking a lot, carrying a pack, and you're doing PT and stuff. So it just depends what you have it in.
Mac, did you have that same superstition? No one was allowed to open the Lucky Charms.
Oh, no, not that, but they did say that the gum was supposed to be like a laxative, and they did say be careful with the dairy shakes; they can get you diarrhea.
Yeah, in the Army, you'd get your ass whipped if you cracked open the Lucky Charms. You know what I mean? They're like lifesavers, but they're like Lucky Charms are hard candy.
Oh yeah,
What the heck?
yeah,
No, I'm
yeah.
being serious, dude. It's like super. It's like a big time superstitious thing, man. No one would ever open up like that candy. They would chuck it. They wouldn't even break it. Wouldn't break it open. Wouldn't take any of them.
Mhm.
Okay. Never heard that before.
Yeah. So
Like it's
good
because
stream
you're
though.
breaking your luck. I guess I don't know. I guess
Yeah.
that was the thought. Maybe somebody had snapped one open, and then I don't know, a mortar came in or something. And ever since then, the urban legend says X, Y, Z. You know
Yeah.
Because he broke the damn Lucky Charm.
exactly.
Trust me.
So, but I do appreciate it, gentlemen. Very, a very worthwhile conversation. Is this something you often do on Saturdays, or is like health Saturdays, or is it a particular day? Oh, you're muted, I think.
No, it's not. Originally, what I began doing is I started doing just random videos, but then later on, I started making more serious stuff on Wednesdays. I used to go on stream on live only twice a week. So I used to do a Wednesdays and a Saturday.
Mhm.
So Saturdays were more open panel. Wednesdays were more serious. But because I think and I write down so much stuff and I start writing down a whole bunch of I've got a shit ton of notes. So when I started going live more, I just try to put out a lot more of the episodes. So now I'm trying to be a little bit more open panel.
Yeah. So
Just
kind of
throughout
like
the
let
week.
it flow where it flows, kind of thing.
Yep,
All right, that's
yep.
cool. Yeah, because I
It's
wanted
gaining
to kind of.
perspective anyway, so
Yeah.
it's always nice to know what people are thinking.
So, do you have any plans in the future, or are you interested in having a discussion about what as a military dude, I'm sorry, Marcus, you probably have the same. I don't know. I don't want to speak for you. I've become quite alarmed. And Resla, if you can bring up, if you want, otherwise tell me to just stuff it in my, you know what, if you could bring up what the Third Amendment is, if you
Okay,
could
yeah, sure.
bring that up and maybe put a slideshow, maybe we can have a little civics kind of lesson here for those that are in the chat. I think if
Sure.
you don't know your rights, they're going to get violated day in and day out. So the Third Amendment, I think. So what's happening on our border, right? Within the last 365 days, we've had over 144 different countries represented in crossing our southern border. Unimpeded, uninterrupted. Matter of fact, and I've been saying this for months now, and now more mainstream people are picking up on this and saying the same exact thing. For months, I've been saying it's non-governmental organizations, NGOs, are being funded, and I think in part they're being funded by tax dollars that are going over to that place that's fighting another Eastern Bloc country. I'm not going to say the words. I don't want to. I think we all know what we're talking about.
Yeah, we do.
Hundreds of billions of dollars going to. And
Mhm.
what I think is happening is that's a slush fund kickback organization, and what they're doing is some of these NGOs are getting that money that's coming from my children's future tax dollars are going to have to cover it if we ever can, if we don't become insolvent as a country. They're leveraging my children's future to basically use our tax dollars to then filter a bunch of people into our country that don't necessarily want to be here for any other reason other than free stuff. And I don't blame these people. They're being honeypotted into this country. They're being told they're desperately needed. They're being told that they will be taken care of in some cases, in most parts. They're given EBT cards that are like, I mean, the average homeless veteran would just absolutely thrive on what they're giving a lot of these people. When you got the whole Wu flu, the Chinese, the sweet and sour sniffles, the Fauci ouchie
Sweet and sour
situation,
sniffle, okay.
the whole Fauci ouchie situation, right? Look what happened to the hospitality industry, hotels, motels. No one was traveling, so they have to have all that overhead, no incoming money. So they're hemorrhaging money hand over fist, and then all of a sudden, the government with a shell company, whether it be BlackRock or Blackstone or any of these other little shell companies, comes in and says, we'll buy this place from you, or we will offer you, or the government itself comes in and says, we're going to offer you a 5-year contract. You're going to house migrants here. You're not going to ask any questions. You will provide the security. Here's the contract. Here's the money. Keep your mouth shut. And probably an NDA is signed. And so about the third, you want to go ahead and read that for everyone?
Okay, which one?
The Third Amendment.
So the Third Amendment here says the Third Amendment of the U.S. Constitution states that soldiers cannot be quartered in private homes without the owner's consent during peacetime, and that in times of war, soldiers may be quartered uh, in the manner prescribed by law. The amendment is ratified on December 15th, 1791.
Okay. So basically they can't kick me out of my house and put soldiers in my house.
Yes.
Okay. And technically, because I'm a private citizen, they can't do these things. But what they can seem to be doing is have a loophole by quartering, barracksing, billeting a mercenary army that they are paying to come in. And most of these people coming in are military age males. They
Huh.
don't speak the language, and they don't speak the language very well. Their prospects of perhaps having a job or even needing a job are pretty much non-existent because the government is giving them money hand over fist. Now, I want you to understand something. If I were honeypotted into another country, given all these promises and given money and supported for like 3, 4, 5, 6 months a year, and all of a sudden no one would hire me in this place, or I couldn't speak the language. I didn't really get along with the culture, but I was getting money from the government to be there, and they were giving me a place to live. They were taking care of my medical, taking care of my education, taking care of my family, basically taking care of my food. And then all of a sudden it stopped, especially right around the wintertime or, now imagine now you don't have shelter, and imagine you are a family man. Let's imagine it's you, your wife, and 3 kids. And now you're wandering the countryside, and your kids are cold. They're complaining. They don't have any food. That your family's becoming desperate. Any man worth being called a man would do whatever he could to try to provide for his family, perhaps even breaking the law, perhaps even taking someone's life if they're not necessarily a biblical person, right? So what happens is you're creating all these desperate situations, and you're causing desperate situations. And so the thing is when you take a culture that's diametrically opposed to another culture, and as long as they're this far apart, it's okay. But when you start doing this to them, and then you start doing this to them, and next thing you know, they're right up against each other, brother. It's not a question of if, but when.
Mm-hmm.
These cultures
Agreed.
are going to battle each other, and you are going to want to take care of your family, or at the very least yourself. If you're a single man, you're going to do what you need to do. If that means you kick some farmhouse's door in and cave the family's head in and go bury them in a shallow grave behind the farm, now it's your farm. And I can show you article after article, video after video of ranchers having to spend their very last dime of savings just to try to keep themselves from going to jail because some dude come onto their property with an AK-47, leveled it at him, and he was defending himself. And he's going to jail. Look at what happened to the Marine Daniel Penny on the subway when the guy came into it, slammed down his jacket, saying, "I'm ready to go to Rikers. I'm gonna kill someone today."
Yep.
And right before he got into the subway, he punched an old woman in the face. So instead of Daniel Penny being heralded as a hero Marine, he's fighting for his freedom. That's upside down.
Yeah,
that's backwards.
And that's the thing too about that example, because in the late 80s, early 90s, it happened in Mexico where I brought it up once before, and I think Uncle Tom or here Resla stream, the presidency back then, and along with all the people that were part of his cabinet ministry, all administration, they made the privatization of communal farms called the ejidos. They made them corporate, and they literally took the farms from the local people, like the local families, stuff like that, and they privatized it. And telecoms, railroads, stuff like that. So all those people that you just said right now were, hey, if I got a freaking musket, if I have my freaking shield, I'll use that shit to defend my own farm. However, if you know how it works over there in Mexico, and especially Mexico City, you're only allowed one gun, and you have to go and get the gun. I think it's one gun and one rifle, or one gun and one shotgun, last I checked, per household. And you have to go all the way to the capital of Mexico, City, which is basically Washington, D.C. of Mexico. And people, they were fighting just to be able to get, hey, this is my land, this is my farm. Not anymore. And ever since the late 80s, early 90s till now, that's been the constant struggle and the fight, and the U.S. economic dollar, which holds more weight than the peso. The peso dropped by so much And now it's like I said earlier, it's going to be with the haves and have-nots, and it's going to get like The Walking Dead or like one of those like shows where people are going to be fighting and surviving, and it's going to get tough, man. And I tell those people just be reality, like live in reality. Like I don't live in delusion. It's going to get worse before it gets better.
I mean, we already see signs
And
that are happening now. Whether
and
it's in
prepare.
Chicago, whether you see it here in my city here in New York, um, you got people who are breaking into buildings, murking people and stuff, and having duffel bags and being in closets. Now to the point where you have people who are struggling to just find housing. We're talking about actual New York residents. But I mean, people don't realize that when we talk about the homeless population here in New York, we're talking about people who are working class people. They are working. We're not just talking about people who are unemployed. They're working and are homeless. It doesn't make sense. But then you get what? You get these foreigners who will bust in, basically kicking out the people who are looking for somewhere to work. Now you hear about they just got here. They've only been here for a couple of months, but you have people that's been homeless for probably years, and now they're even getting not apartments, houses, actual houses. It's crazy. And if not that, then you have
They're
those
getting
that are
funding.
going out into the boroughs and they're literally raiding houses, if not squatting. It's definitely at that point.
And I've been warning people that your manifest destiny, your future is being given away from you, right out from underneath you by your own government. Now, I don't know if you've ever listened to Farrakhan. I know he's not a big fan of people that look like me, but I sat and listened to him.
Oh, is that about Minister Farrakhan?
Yeah, I've had sat and listened to him with my wife, and I go, this dude's based, man. Listen, man, if you don't ride with your people, whoever those are, and you want to sell out your own people for another group of people, then you're a fool there, first off. But if 2 groups of people can work together, cool, that's great. But you should at least put your people before you put anyone else's people. And I can get down with that message. I don't hear hate when I hear that.
You hear survival.
Right. Well, I mean, it's smart. But so in regards to, you hear like Killer Mike when, he talks about you guys aren't ready to revolt anything. You don't grow your own food. You don't hunt for your own food. You don't train in martial arts. How many of you go to a range and practice? How many of you are doing this? Put your hands down. You ain't ready to revolt anything. And it's like, and neither are we in as America, because our government is purposely giving our country away. Like have you ever heard of a hostile takeover where they take over the company and then they part it up and they sell out the parts of it?
Yeah.
What it feels like to be an American right now. I feel like the vultures are picking at our carcass left and right. And I'm not okay with it. But so to engage the third amendment, that soldiers cannot be quartered in private homes. Right now, corporation is supposed to be, people are corporations too, according to the little buzzword.
Unfortunately,
right? So if a corporation has a motel or a hotel, then basically our own government is paying mercenaries to invade our country, billeting them for a time that is to be determined in the future, where they're going to be unleashed, whether they're going to be directly unleashed, armed and trained, or if they're just going to be chaotically released and then everyone has to fend for themselves. When food, I mean, how many, you guys buy your own food, right? Inflation's up like insane. Like a $60 bag of food is now like $150, right? What you used to get for $60 is like $150 now.
Yeah.
It's not a bug. It's by design. If you control the food, you control the people. Propaganda might get you 40 to 50% of the minds, but there's going to be a rejection rate. So they've been doing propaganda. That's only worked so long, and they're combining it with indoctrination in our schools. Have you heard of Agenda 21, or I'm sorry, Agenda 2030? You've heard that term?
I've heard it like once or twice lately.
Yeah. Do some research into Agenda 2030. Now I'm Gen X, so I'm a little bit older than you gentlemen. I'm guessing. I know black don't crack, so maybe you're 70. Resla.
Well, right? Say yo.
Hey.
So but it's like when in 2030, I'm going to be in my 60s, man. I mean, yeah, I'll still have the heart to fight, but My 60-year-old geriatric ass ain't doing a whole lot. I mean, I'll be there because I love my country. I love my fellow countrymen. I want to protect this nation. But if you think about it, they've been indoctrinating Gen Zero and Gen Z, and millennial generation is kind of like, I call the millennial generation kind of the lost generation. There's some real superstars, but then there's a lot of just lost. I'm talking Tide Pod Challenge winners,
Yes.
deselecting
Tide
themselves out
Pods.
of the gene. Yeah, I mean, it's just I don't
A
get
lot
it.
of sheep.
Yeah, and I've got 2 millennial children. One slays, dude. Her work ethic is through the roof. The other one's kind of a lost sheep, but his work ethic compared to most millennials is still higher. But it's not accidentally happening, Resla. They're indoctrinating our children to be dumber. They're indoctrinating our children to hate their country. They're indoctrinating our children to
Yes.
be confused about their
Absolutely.
own sexuality.
Yes.
I mean, and I'm not trying to get any more than that, right? But it's not accidental what they're doing, and it's so insidiously subversive that it needs to be dealt with, and I'm not exactly sure how.
I'm just gonna say this because I thought it was. I'm glad you brought that up, generally, because I think one of the moments where I saw it start decaying with the future of our society was when you stopped using a word for its actual definition and started saying, "Oh, it's my truth" or "it's my definition." Stop doing
That's the
that shit.
problem.
What's the definition? What's the Webster's English Dictionary general definition of a word?
Which is
Okay,
why we
stop
say
doing this
words
thing
have
where
meaning. They already
words have
exist.
meaning. Words can have power, and knowledge is power. And when you start diluting it, when you start artificially changing it into what wants to fit into your narrative or whatever it is, it's like, no, I'm here not even trying to say the narrative. We're like generally said earlier, we're people are trying to have a conversation, and then when you start throwing facts and data and the truth, not my truth, not his truth, not your truth, but the
My
truth.
definition.
That's the
hmm
yeah, so that's what trips me out is like, what happened? Like, no, like, bro, when I went to school, when I went to college for a bit, when I went to high school, what, that all of a sudden the teachers are, I have to do a background check on some of these teachers now. If I'm going to get involved with my nieces and nephews, certain thing that they're allowing to condone that it would never happen in my time. And if anything, I would say something and I wouldn't be allowed, and I wouldn't condone it. I myself, if I was a minor, I would be one of those guys that speaks up and says, you know what, I'm not doing this. I'm not walking out of the classroom, or I say, you know what, I'll respectfully just bow out from this lesson, and that's it. But I think now, no offense, if you're not a sheep, I just no offense to a lot of these. Some of these kids are soft, man. They're so docile. They're so soft. It's so feminized. You shame a person, a guy, for being a man, and then a woman can be shamed just to be a woman and be maternal and be, homebody and be there for their men. And I just hate having to go through this again, because I know that as much as I say it, and I know as much as we're speaking truth, they're still going to somehow say that this is misogyny and hate speech, and we're going too conservative or too old school for whatever reason. When, hey, back in the day, if you go back to old school, at least the country was thriving.
One of my largest complaint, especially when I hear from people who are in my generation as a millennial, and I hear grown men who turn around and start blaming the patriarchy. That shit irks my soul. When and then you have the male feminists that will actually advocate for us trying out a matriarchy. And I'm like, what in the world is happening here? And when you just ask them a very
Well,
base question,
what is a man, Resla? What is a woman, Resla?
show me one. Just show me a matriarchy that existed, that survived. Just give me one.
That stood the
There's
test
a
of
reason
time.
for that.
Oh, you're gonna like my shows then. So I mean,
Well, and here's the thing, like we I'm just sorry, bro. It's just we've had conversations with some of these people that, like how Reza just described, and it's like trying to put a circular peg into a square hole, or I'm sorry, reverse, square peg into a circular hole with them. It just doesn't want to fit, and like for them, it's like their logic is just stumped. Like, are we having the same conversation, or do you want to have some conversation that you want to have in yourself?
But we'll literally say, even from our own logic right here, it doesn't fit. And in their mind, but we'll make it fit. Because
it's
if we just believe, it'll
it's
happen.
yeah, it's on purpose with a purpose for a purpose, and people need to wake up. It just and listen, Marcus, I'm encouraged by your like even if I was a kid in these situations when I was coming up in school, man, they didn't teach me what to learn as much as they taught me how to learn. Meaning, all right, there's going to be a
Mm-hmm.
test on
Facts.
chapters 1 through 3. You need to take copious notes, try to figure out what would be germane. What do you think are the important things? So they didn't say you should memorize this, and this, and then you jettison all that information because next week you're having to memorize something else in order to pass a test to make a teacher look like they're actually succeeding when they're failing the students. So it's all about the teachers and the school looking like it's doing its job based on curriculum and grades. Well, if you were to look up the average ability to do arithmetic, reading, writing, and arithmetic, if you were to look up the stats nationwide, I think you'd be absolutely shocked, Resla. You'd be absolutely shocked. It's not good. Excuse me. But what Marcus was saying is the power of just saying no. I'm not going to do it. I mean, speaking the truth in a world full of lies is a very rebellious act. And we need truth tellers more than ever right now. We need truth tellers more than ever.
I mean, I'm hearing what you're saying,
Yeah.
even in reference to school, and I think about the schools that have literally. I think we've had schools in New York that says that we have high school students that couldn't get past the 4th grade reading level, and then I think we have Baltimore that literally said that they all, like the entire school, failed in mathematics, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's ridiculous right now.
Yeah. So, but and we're spending more money on children right now than we ever had in the history of education. My daughter's homeschooling, and I'm so happy she is. When the FBI is investigating parents that are going to the schools when they find out in their libraries is this pornographic smut that they're putting in front of these children, it's absolutely degenerate. And that they're teaching the kids how at young ages. I'm talking like 6 to 11 years old, how to rub one
Fellatio.
out. Yeah, how to give, we'll just say head for lack of a better term on both ends. Why does my kid need to know any of this? Why would my kid need to know any of this? What kind of perversion is going on here? So then it makes me start to ask some questions about things that we were told in history. There was a certain time where I'm not even going to bring it up. I'm not going to bring it up. Farrakhan would be proud of what I'm about to say, but I'm going to leave it alone. Out of respect. It's your channel, brother.
No,
Yeah.
I agree. I agree. There's so much. It's just gotten out of hand. No one wants to take the reins, and it's sad because a lot of parents who have decided to have their kids enroll in this kind of society, it's just falling to the part. There's a thing where, and I blame a lot of parents for the simple fact. I blame a lot of parents for the simple fact, but I also blame the way just how society has just moved forward, because we literally ran into this whole process where people work to live, or rather, they live to work, not work to
Mm-hmm.
live. But it also means that other people are raising your children. You are not. You don't have ownership over your own children at all. Not even a little bit.
Yeah, it's my wife and we made a conscious decision. I was in the military and got out and had a 13-year break in military service, got back in 05 and going to Afghanistan, but I was in during the Gulf War. And so in that break in service, I worked around my wife's schedule. She had a really good opportunity. She worked at a hospital, so she was the breadwinner. She had the health insurance, all that stuff. My mom got her the job. Basically, it's kind of like it's not what you know, it's who you know sometimes, right?
Absolutely.
Connections, networking, like we're doing right now. Hopefully this will be a long friendship because I'm really liking the vibes I'm getting off the way we're thinking, and no one's coming after me for thinking and being honest and engaging honestly. You know what I mean? It's so refreshing. And so I had to work around her schedule, and you know, I was a saucier and I worked the grill and I was an expediter as a gourmet sous chef. And I was able to work around my boss's schedule. Oh, my show is going to be starting soon. I was able to work around my boss's schedule or he was able to work around. He was able to facilitate my schedule because I had worked for him previously, and he knew that I was a good employee. Normally, if you work in the kitchen, you're there 11 o'clock in the morning at the latest, and you're there all night until service, right?
Yep.
And so I was able to roll in at about 5:30. When if my wife would get off from work, I would get in the car because we had the one vehicle. To your point, I wanted to raise my kid with my values. I didn't want someone else to raise my kids so that I could have, 2 SUVs and a big house and I'm okay with not having all the finer things, knowing that my kids were raised with my values, right? And I think that that's really important, and you can do it. It's tough, but you can do it. And but the world looks at a man that's not the quote unquote breadwinner that works around his wife's schedule in a very
Yep.
negative way. And that was the best 11 years I ever spent with my kids. I mean, I'll never get. I mean, I probably spent more time with my children than most men will see in an entire
And, yeah,
lifetime.
the most men. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not bragging. I'm just so grateful, and it's meaningful, and so, but we made it work, right? And then I ended up going back into the military because every year the insurance would go up, the cost of living would go up, and we were basically hemorrhaging money. And it was like we were living further and further below our means and not getting ahead.
Right.
And so I ended up getting back in the military, and then TRICARE, and it's great. The military benefits. I mean, it was freaking amazing. Best decision I ever made getting back in. And then my wife didn't have to work. And so anyway, long story short, to Marcus, I think it was Marcus's point, or did you say it, Rez? You might have said it, where someone else is raising your kids.
Oh, that was
With
me.
daycare. Yeah.
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 The power of just saying no and not letting the government spoil your. I mean, why don't we teach civics anymore? Why don't we teach cursive anymore? What documents written in cursive?
Why don't they teach home economics?
Yes,
Mhm.
exactly. That's
Exactly.
I chose home economics because I knew there'd be a lot of chicks there. So when I was in high school,
And free food.
yeah, but think about what I'm saying here. We don't teach civics, right? People don't know their rights anymore. They don't really teach cursive anymore. What is the most important document in America that's written in cursive?
Exactly.
The Declaration of Independence.
That's correct.
The Declaration.
And if you have to get it
You
off
can't
of
read it.
Wikipedia because you read it anywhere else, anyone can add and subtract to that. Anyone can tell you that means something it doesn't even mean anymore.
That's correct.
So it's important to know the originating document and how to read it in the originated hand. It's a very important perishable skill, and I think we are doing our children.
Now we got Wikipedia, gentlemen. We got Wikipedia now,
Like
where you can
anyone
edit
can
it
contribute
and
to.
change history. You can change the history however you want, because God forbid we end up like Red Dawn, or we end up like that freaking
Oh my
Skynet
God.
bullshit. Trust me, it goes downhill, and they want to freaking rephrase and rewrite history how they want it to fit their narrative. Because right now, the way it's going, our dollar is going to be losing its value, and they want to make that internet virtual universal currency. That's what they want to do. And then it's going to be about, like I said earlier, the haves and have-nots, Lord of the Flies, Mad Max. Watch out.
I just think it's absolutely insane that we can look now in 2024 and say that there are more foreigners who walk in who can pass a citizenship test, but our people can't do it. Oh, you read that?
That's a good point. By the way, in the back chat, Marcus, if you ever want to come by and be on my panel, dude, any one of you, I'd love to have you on my panel. I'm going to be doing
for sure.
I'm going to be doing a review of a 1A audit video here pretty soon.
Okay.
I got a show scheduled for 9, so but I'm going to hop out. I really do appreciate it, and man, I love these conversations, and we need to have more of these. And look, listen, you're a Marine. I don't have to tell you, Marcus Resla. I like the cut of your jib. Seriously, men need to start freaking leading from the front, put the women and children to bed, and go out looking for freaking dinner. Women and children need, require, and crave boundaries. Women have to have boundaries, otherwise they go crazy. Beyonce say, "Who run the world? Girls." Now we know who's responsible for the fucking dumpster fire, right? Congratulations, girls. We got a dumpster fire. Men, get the fire extinguishers. Let's take this shit back over again. Lead from the front, no excuses. So
For sure.
appreciate you.
I'm gonna subscribe to your channel generally, so That, and I'm
Yeah,
gonna have to
correct.
barter with you too. I'm gonna have to barter some chickens from you too. So just because I gotta go.
Pollos. I only
Pollos
use them for eggs.
hermanos.
I only do them for eggs right now. I haven't started raising meat birds yet. But when I start doing meat birds, I'm going to start like with the processing and butcher them myself and package them and everything.
For sure.
All right.
But
Appreciate
thank
you
you,
stopping by, man.
dude. Are you kidding me? Is this the best? This is the best part of my day so far, brother. I appreciate that. Y'all take care.
appreciate
Take care, chat. Sorry, I was like
You too,
bloviating
bro.
and taking up all the oxygen.
Y'all good, man.
Appreciate you what you did, man. Thank you for your service too.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I that was fire. I appreciate it. And like, yeah, so he came up. He's this is his second time up, but he's been watching for a little bit. I was checking out his channel from ever since the last stream, trying to take a look at some of the stuff, and he's got some good content. He's got some good content, some good conversations. I'm hoping to see a lot more as to what's going on and what they talk about. But yeah, we need more people who are very vocal, whatever. And that's the best part about it. Like, I love the fact that I'll even say what he said. I love the fact that we can get more people who are coming up here and they can just really have a civil conversation. It's not someone coming trying to lob in the grenade. We have some fun time for whatever. It's not like these huge arguments about whatever. And again, we're okay to have arguments and actual disagreements as long as we can come to some form of understanding. I'm good with that. That's just not. It's not what we tend to see in these spaces anymore, and it's unfortunate. It really
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, I mean it's okay to disagree. So it's not the end of the world. Like I said earlier, it's listen. You can be your favorite color is blue. My favorite color is navy blue. It's a little different, but that's fine. It's we're okay. Maroon, burgundy, whatever it is, red. It
Yeah,
don't matter.
Yeah, we don't have to say that my blue is better than your blue. We can just agree that we both like blue, and
Yeah,
that
or
is what it is.
yeah, agree to disagree is okay too. Like I don't know why people think that just because we disagree, it's like my truth is worth more, yours is worth more, or less, or vice versa. It's like
Well,
crazy.
I'll tell you why, because I say it all the time. Because people rather be right rather than to be effective.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. I agree with that. Yeah, man. Like I said too, man, it's like I'm glad that you had this stream. I'm glad we talked about it. We did go down the rails a little bit to the side, but it's in a good way though. I
Yeah.
still enjoyed every bit of the conversation from beginning to the end. And appreciate, when you go on these panels, you're gonna meet people from different walks of life, what they did, their stories, and that we are a melting pot. And that's crazy too, because about the Third Amendment that generally did bring up, which I'm glad he did. The state that we're in right now, it's a state of affairs I'm not going to say it's irreparable because I don't think anything is. It's just that the damage that's been done already, it's really severe. It's really severe, and that's just me being honest.
Well, I think the more of us gets to recognize it, the more we have a better chance of taking it back. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
it's hard to see the truth when one has clouded eyes, and our government has had a great shaping in that, from my particular point of view.
Yeah, and like I said, like the government's gonna want to put a big cloth over your face and the eyes and cover it, so that way, they just want you to keep doing what you're doing. Like you said, people are living to work, not working to live, and it's unfortunate because go back like 20 plus years or so, it was a whole different story. Even if you were, I know in 2008 they had that collapse,
Yep.
the market again, it crashed, so. They had that issue, but before all that, yeah, it wasn't as bad. It was affordable. Shit, you could even go to McDonald's to get 50-cent cheeseburgers. That's how different it was. Now
That's
it's
true.
like $10. You know what I'm
That
saying?
is
So just look at now. Like I said, I appreciate these streams, man. It's a great conversation. Thank you for having me.
no problem.
And everybody just go subscribe and follow Resla. As much as sometimes the shit I may give him in the chat. It's all in good love. It's all just humor. It's nothing personal. And I appreciate meeting you on the panels that I had. Even though that first time I met you, bro, I had you, bro. You kept going and you kept falling for it. Like the whole believe all women. We don't wait.
Yep.
I remember the first time I went on a panel with you, you were believing everything you said. And I even said it. I said, wait, so we don't believe all women? And you're like, what? No. I was like, bro, I had you, bro. I had you, bro. I had to go with it, So, hey, man, like I said, subscribe, like, share, follow, leave a comment, donate to this guy's channel, man. Really dope content creator. And
Appreciate
you know, he
you,
already has
guy.
it set up like he's already been doing it for a while. Because I think I look at your camera setup, and it's like you look at one of those guys that's been doing it for a while that already has hundreds of thousands of followers, and like we still got guys here that I think they're shit and they have like 3,000 or 4,000.
Trust
So
me,
it's like
I
that,
get
you
it.
know.
Yeah, I get it whenever I do whenever I'm doing like conference calls with people, whatever. They look at they go, "Do you do content?" And I just go, "No," because I don't like to let my clients know what I do. I'm like,
Yeah, hell
"No,
no.
like not at all." So yeah, but yeah, I
Yeah,
appreciate you
but real
stopping by,
quick
man.
though, I wanted to say the last thing. The whole fitness thing and health, that is your choice. You know, you control you goes down your gullet and what kind of workouts you can do. Get a check with the doctor. Go to your doctor. You know, and then don't be afraid to push yourself. You know, something that's worth something, I don't believe should come easy, but it's going to take hard work, perseverance, and discipline. And then 5, yeah, the migrant shit is a serious issue, and what your kids are learning in school and stuff, it's a serious issue. You have control of that too, and if you can work something where it works for your time and your schedule, that is a serious thing, a serious detriment to your family, your rights, and you know, God be with you.
Absolutely. Thank you for stopping by, man. Let me just close this out for everybody. You know, Marcus, stop by anytime, man. So, guys, that's gonna be our episode. I know it was gonna be a little bit of a controversial conversation. I know people are gonna be listening to a lot of this, and they're gonna be thinking, I'm not really with it." Maybe some people got into their feelings or whatever. Um, I would agree also with Marcus and the fact that people really should get on their weight as well. Hopefully, you guys will come up with some conversational pieces for your own or how you particularly felt about this particular episode. Maybe you'll even go about answering some of the questions yourself. Do you think that maybe there should be some penalties or some fines against it? If not, who should really be taking a better process when it comes to trying to help regulate? Because obviously, people are not necessarily doing it for themselves. Do you believe that necessarily just because you're a person who might be in that category of obese, or you may know somebody who's actually in that area, should they just be able to do whatever, and then everybody else has to just deal with whatever? Um, and in terms of insurance, what do we do about that? What do we do about the health insurance costs or whatever? This has not been an episode about necessarily ragging on anyone who may be obese of any type, but rather it's been a conversation about health in general and what exactly do we do to encourage type things through an actual perspective, what I hope to be a very productive conversation between people. And if you feel like there's an opposite end of that, that you're not necessarily too cool with it, or there needs to be an other side needs to be addressed, you can feel free to reach out to me at a lot of different mediums that I have, whether it is at uh, my Twitter, whether it's, of course, when you see me here on YouTube, whether you want to catch me over on Instagram, which is at Resla Opinionated. And of course, if that's not enough for you, you can always feel free to reach out to me via email at reslaopinionated@gmail.com. So you do have that as well. Guys, I do appreciate you guys for being here. This was a bit of a long one. Hopefully, this is an episode that you can take something from, or at least if you're not having a little bit of a head scratcher, you can bring it to other people that you speak with. And if anything, if you haven't liked the video, be sure to actually subscribe if you haven't already, and of course, share this with anyone that you think might be interested in having some information or a thoughtful conversation that could be rather beneficial. With that being said, guys, take care of yourselves, take care of your loved ones, and of course, stay opinionated. See you on the next one.